here! Welcome in, Burning Speed Chat. Thank you for the follows. Ooh. Tracking you good? Seems good. Wibble wobble. Here, let me... Wait, I gotta swap, don't I? Let me mod the wife, and I'll just pin this one too. There you go, pinned. Okay. And add moderator. Okay, seems good. Okay, Miwa should now be modded, and everything should be good. Welcome in! Been a while since we had a YouTube stream. Hope you all are doing super well. Let me know if the music's too loud, the game's too quiet, anything else when I actually get into the game, obviously. But welcome in! Twitch was like super turbo down earlier today, so I ran off, touched grass, grabbed snacks, and I've got chocolate, I've got Doritos, and what? Why is this breaking? Maybe I'm just too far away. Maybe that's what it is. It normally doesn't have problems. I don't know. Yeah, there's a respawn point out by the snack run place. What? Why is this? Yeah, enjoy your mod powers, Miwa. Enjoy. Feel free to do whatever it is you do. I don't know. I don't think I have access to anything like VAP, so it's just mod all the way fees. Makes sense. Keep it easy. But yeah, welcome in, everybody. So today I figured we'd have comfy, cozy, playing around, doing some memes. I know Olner is starting a Dark Souls run soon. I know if other few people have had questions as well. Thank you. Always appreciated. Thank you for taking like a hot second to catch up, chat, as well. Like, that is... Okay, I'll swap that to live, maybe that'll help. Why does my tracking randomly break some days? Like, it's had no problems the last, like... Because I remember this, I had this happen with a collab with Olner at one point. Oh, I didn't actually look this off the... Oh. I went like 6 to 9 months with no tracking issues at all. And then I had like one collab and they started cropping up again. I don't think it's the collab itself. I just think I don't know. But yeah, welcome in. Hope you guys are doing good. We're playing some Dark Souls Remastered today. I thought it'd be fun to just play around, meme around, see what happens. Because this is a game that I've gotten really familiar with, and I want to start doing some like tutorial videos and stuff for anyone who actually needs help with like Dark Souls style games and stuff. But I figured just do some live questions, do some live Q&A, play around with it a bit, show you guys basically what my like starting runs look like at this point. And have fun in between. But here, let me kick us over to the actual YouTube itself. I don't have a camera set up for YouTube for whatever reason. Like, I probably could, I just haven't for whatever reason. But here, keeping it super easy, cute outfit. So, really funny trick. If you want any other starting gift, Thief starts with Master Key. I do not advise Master Key for first-time players because I feel like you lose out on a lot of like the actual Dark Souls experience of like going the route 99% of players have gone. But it's so comfy for just like playing the game like casually after the fact. Or for just playing around and stuff. Especially because it does take you past some harder enemies. Like, it does actually make the game a little bit harder, but it pays off really, really well. And I play that just so I can have the old Witch's Ring. Ancient Ring with no obvious effect, but it lets you talk to one NPC for some lore, and that's it. It lets you talk to one NPC to get one tiny bit of lore, and that's all that it adds. But despite that, I like starting with it. That's very quiet. Let me open volume mixer. Dark Souls can't be louder. And shouldn't be muted. Huh. Oh well. Didn't mean to skip that, but also if the sound is broken, I should probably fix that first. Oh yeah, there it is. I have this like super low. Oh, okay, that's better, that's better. Yeah, that's better. the dungeon cell key, open the door. There it is. Ironically, I'm now used to Elden Ring. I tried to push Y to open the door, which is how you double hand a weapon in this game. Boop. Rip that off. Rip that off. Not like it matters. And then, yeah, jumping is sprint B instead of sprint A, which this leads to such awkward ways of handling the controller. I know there's the Kingsfield memes, I know there's the other memes as well, but like, this is all straightforward. Start the game, go through the little tutorial stuff. So you can actually, most players won't actually see him, they'll just run forward, but if you tilt your camera high enough, you can see him just lurking up there. You know he's up there. And then that gives you a nice little getaway. So you can kill him. If you kill him, you get a guaranteed, especially notable for Ulner, you don't have a weapon at this point, because your weapon is actually over here. Sorry. Shield. So you've got that over there. Come over here, grab your knife, or whatever equivalent you have. Oh, I'll put on the shield just for the sake of. Well, a couple of reasons. I've streamed on YouTube before. Sometimes Twitch is just being scuffy, unfortunately. I got to just everything. Run up here. Backstep off. That's not backstep. Sometimes Twitch is being scuffy, and I do like using the YouTube channel. Like, I do post videos on the YouTube channel pretty regularly. I do play around with the YouTube a bit. I don't wanna move. Oh, I forgot about him. There it is. Okay, bye, dude. Have a nice time. Ow. I could play this better, but it kind of doesn't matter, and that's kind of the other funny part. Oop. There we go. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Welcome in, welcome in. that is a name. Wait, what? That's on Twitch as well. That's... Yeah, so partially just forever ago I had to cancel it. This is closed again. Alright, that's fine. Forever ago I had to cancel a Twitch stream because Twitch was being twitchy. And so I figured at that point I set up for just YouTube as an emergency, and then also just different stuff. Nice, nice, nice. Yeah, I should have everything linked. Welcome in, Kat. How are you doing tonight? 1, 2, 3, and roll. 1, 2. Oh, no, come back. Come back. I want to fight you. There we go. And then the other one is pacing, because I try and make sure my Twitch streams are always... Like, this is very much a casual stream, for lack of a better term. Like, I'm still obviously, you know, streaming, and I'm still absolutely, like, still on, but... Twitch lends itself really well to certain types of content. I think it's the best way to frame it. Okay, congratulations. Ow. Either way, welcome in, hope you enjoy your stay. I play a lot of Dark Souls, a bit of Yu-Gi-Oh, and a bit of other memes. I forget if this has bleed in it or not. I think it does. Not look like it. But yeah, for how intimidating this guy looks, he is honestly, like, you can just flask through him as long as you even, like, make an attempt at dodging. And handled. Yeah, there's the bleed. But yeah, the other one is just, you know, both platforms have their own niches, both platforms have their own benefits and costs and stuff like that, but it's, like, I want to say the air quotes comfy stream. Yeah, always appreciate it, always appreciate it. We also have a Discord down below as well, if you ever want to hop in there. That's just a good place to get notifications, because I primarily stream on Twitch. Though I do also I'm trying to stream a bit more on YouTube in general. But also because, like, it does so little damage, you can just kind of, like, play with the boss and be funny like that. And that's all really linear. There's no real decisions to make there unless you want to try and, like, bring fire bombs. Only if you want, like, the Unga Bunga stick, for instance, you bring fire bombs and you kill the boss, like, right up front. In Large Run, you can level up. Alright. I just like round numbers. This is, unironically, just my brain. You do not have to obey these laws. This is just my brain. Blah, 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 ring 2 bells, blah, blah, blah. Alright. So, first off, loot this place. I mean, there's a huge amount of mod support for the Dark Souls games. Like, I've found play as Mordred in Dark Souls. I've found play as Artoria in Dark Souls. I've found play as Kyrie in Dark Souls. So, you can probably find something that you want in there. Boo. No, sir, give me a copper coin. Oh yeah, that's the other, is like, so many enemies just or so many, I mean, spoilers for Freudian stuff on that one, but so many characters have so much dialogue trees in them, like, you actually want to talk to them until they start repeating themselves, and even then you might want to keep talking to them. But yeah, so there's just a ton of loot in Firelink Shrine. And this is my favorite meme. This is my favorite meme because down there is absolute hell, absolutely factually speaking. But let me grab Cracked Red Eye Orb. Morning Star, there it is. So, I don't remember if the Morning Star is actual... Yeah, strike damage. So this does strike damage. I'm gonna take this off. That should still be light load. Ooh, no, that's medium load. Let's take off the gloves too while I'm here then. That should be better. Yeah, that's better. So, here's the funny. Here's the exact funny I was referring to. So the game's like, oh man, look at this place full of skeletons. Look at this place full of skeletons. And my dagger does 6 damage because they're skeletons and they don't care about slashing damage. Look how much this does. It's not hugely better, but it's 28 instead of 6. Like, yeah, you're not doing like 100 damage or anything cracked like that. But that is so much better than you were doing with any other weapon choice. Like, it's... And they put it right in front of the skeletons. Like, it's right next to them. But you come in here with your dagger or with your sword and you do, like, 12 damage and you're like, oh, guess there's nothing I can do about this. Ow, now I'm stuck on the train. That's its own business. But yeah, you come over here, you just bop them repeatedly. They fall down. Look at this. They just... There you go. These enemies are just actually impossible if you come here early game with just a silly little dagger or something. But the game just gives you the answer. But again, like most early game Dark Souls players, especially like the importance of damage type, like you're not, like average players are just gonna be like, nah, I like my sword, and they're just gonna stick with their sword, or they're gonna stick with something else. Like, strike damage in Dark Souls as a whole is just such a good damage type. Like Dark Souls 1, Dark Souls 2, Dark Souls 3, it always comes up where they're just like, oh yeah, enemy is made of stone. 40% slashing resist, 40% pierce resist, full damage from strike. And that's a big deal. Like, that's not nothing. There's the Zweihander if you want it. There's binoculars if you want it. Now, if you want to be really spicy, you can actually come back up here to go get a couple more items. Though it's probably smarter to just roll off that cliff. I have all of 40 souls. You just roll off the cliff there. It doesn't matter. But if you want to be spicy, if you want to go grab some extra things, want to do a little bit of extra work, you can come all the way down here. Nothing stops you from coming all the way down here, but sadly, this is where you still had to use the torch, or you had to use a hat, or you had to use a spell. Excuse me. Souls just come in as stuff falls off the cliff there. It does. It really does. Like, that's... But this is the thing, is like, if you come here at level 1, because Dark Souls 1, and Dark Souls 2 does it as well, especially where it's like, you can go multiple directions. The game will not stop you from going multiple... I can't activate that bonfire. Push this in. Oh, that's not one-handing, that's one-handing. Bonk, bonk, bonk. Sippy. And dead. So with that pushed in, you can go all the way down to the entire lower area. You can go all the way down to the entire lower area if you wanted to down there. Why is this... It's weird. Oh yeah, that's the funny thing is, this thing not only does it deal strike damage, it has bleed on its strike damage as well. So it's... like, it has a shrunk status effect, it has a good attack type, and it does good damage. But yeah, so that's the first direction you can go. And if you're a new player and you go over there, you will die horrifically. Heck, I died horrifically. But that's the thing is, like, especially because things feel so approachable, you're like, oh yeah, it's a big open world game, I'm gonna go over here, and the game just kicks you out. The game says, how dare you? The game just absolutely says, how dare you even consider coming in here and doing this in front of my salad? But you slide on down here. I mean, but that's the thing is, we went over there with no souls, so we kind of showed, you know, it doesn't really matter, right? Like, oh no, our 40 souls, whatever will we do? Who cares? Second place you can come down is you can come down here and hang out as well. More souls to grab. Now, so this is the nerd I was talking about. Is this nerd down here? Hello. If you're ever struggling on a run... oh, he's a little awkward to talk to. First off, he can reinforce your weapons. This is before Tauros Demon even. Normally, if you don't take the Master Key, you at least have to beat Tauros Demon. Now, Tauros Demon isn't hard, and there's plenty of ways to beat him. But you don't even have to go to Tauros Demon to start upgrading your weapons. You can just come right here and start upgrading if you can find Titanite charts. And then if you're ever struggling with something that's doing, like, funny amounts of damage, or you need to, like, play ranged or something, Sorcerer's Catalyst of 500 souls, and Heavy Soul Arrow requires 12 intellect, and normal Soul Arrow costs 10. So for 2,500 souls, you can have a spammable ranged attack that you can just have with you forever. Its damage isn't going to scale wildly. It's not going to start doing suddenly hundreds of damage or thousands of damage, but you start the game with one attunement slot anyway, most of the time on most classes. You might as well put something there. So for 2.5 weight... oh look, another weapon. It's an S-Stock, which is a piercing weapon, I believe, which we now started with a slashing weapon. We've now got a thrust weapon and a strike weapon. And once again, so up there, it gave us the flail, which is good against skeletons. And here, it gives us the transient curse, which is good against, you guessed it, allows engagement with ghosts. You just read the item description. But again, as a new player, you're like, oh, that's a cool item, I'll read it later. You run on down here. And you don't actually, you know, perceive. Now, in fairness, this is doing potato damage, so it's not fantastic, but you normally would not be able to damage this thing at all if you don't use the curse. Ow. Now, I'm just doing this partially to show off and just give example here. Excuse me, sir. Can you please not... but I mean, 50 damage isn't stagger isn't bad. Ow. So again, just examples. Like, in fairness, you shouldn't be fighting those anyway. Bad idea anyway, silly idea anyway, but you can. And again, on that noteworthy looking for items bit, there are items worth grabbing down there. First off, we got all those items at the entrance. Those items are free. We didn't have to fight a single ghost to go down there. I'm gonna get rid of the Morning Star, because we don't really care about that. I can use this, right? Yeah, I'll use the S-Stock. Okay, gonna slap off that. And time to go. And then after I grab the last couple items here, I'll show you guys what we actually start with just effectively. Because there's so much more to this, right? Like, take me down. Like, instead of starting with just the bandit gear and the bandit dagger and the one shield, we are already sitting on a pile of goods, and we're not even done here. So, we have access to buying magic if we want it. We would just need some souls. Which, again, like, it's not... Magic is very antithetical to how a lot of people play Dark Souls, admittedly. I will say that much. It's like, a lot of people do play Dark Souls in a very specific, like, melee-focused way. Maybe they pick up one type of spell, maybe... But the very tropey, very stereotypical Dark Souls experience is you grab a weapon, you hit stuff with the weapon, it falls over dead. If you die, skill issue. That is, very admittedly, very openly, the typical Dark Souls experience. And there's nothing wrong with that. Like, there's nothing wrong with playing that way. I enjoy playing that way myself. Firekeeper soul down here. And death over here. But that's the thing, is like we're losing, what, 0 souls? Like, we've lost 42 souls in this whole endeavor. And now we've upgraded our flask. And we never have to go down there again. We never actually have to go back to that spot because we've grabbed the item there. It's a dead end anyway. And then there's one more thing. This is where the Master Key comes in. This is the place where the Master Key comes in. No response, she cannot speak, but she can reinforce the Restless Flask. Which immediately we haven't even left the starting zone, and we have a +1 Estus Flask. We have a Bandit's Knife, a Zweihander, an S-Stock, a Morning Star, a Winged Spear, a Talisman. Like, that's not a bad spread, right? Like, that's, you know, our default weapon, so this would probably be a longsword or a broadsword or something like that, but Zweihander, S-Stock, Morning Star, Winged Spear, right? Like, we have a spear, a hammer, a thrusting sword, a, you know, ultra great sword. Like, that's some solid variety. And this is where the Master Key comes in. We can go down there and buy magic. This is all available at the beginning of the game, but, like, you know, average players probably don't start Master Key. Probably shouldn't start Master Key, admittedly. And then, if you ever want to skip Blighttown, because Blighttown is considered one of the worst spots in the game, in the sewers, you just go through this cave. You skip, like, 75% of Blighttown, and you skip the sewers entirely. If you want free souls, you can kill this thing. It'll give you a pretty decent amount of souls. I don't remember how many, but pretty decent amount. Boo. Now, this is the funny one. You can grab this. You can grab this. If you grab that, he wakes up. If you grab that, he wakes up. That's the only thing you can't grab. Now, in fairness, you want to know why he wakes up? Because it's Stinky Shield. Who cares about a Stinky Shield? Game bad. He's trying to teach you a lesson here. The lesson he's trying to teach you is shield bad. He's trying to tell you, hey, you don't need this shield. Don't take it. It's not for you. It's for someone else. Oops. I did not mean to jump. I was just... And there's more for the Falling compilation. Thank you, game. Now, if you take that cave down into Blighttown, the one that I pointed out as we ran past the Valley Tracks, point it again as we go by. There are more armor sets in there. I believe there's a catalyst in there. So you don't even have to buy the catalyst for 500. And I believe the spell it gives you is like Purify or whatever to cleanse yourself of poison and similar. So again, utility-wise, you could have so much just extra stuff in your pocket to play around with utility-wise that I feel like a lot of players just leave on the floor. I almost... Why am I so slip and slidey? I've been fine, like, all of Elden Ring, aside from once or twice. But then I go back to Dark Souls, and I'm just sliding off of everything. That's fine. That's fine. But if you want a cheesy way to kill this dragon, even... Remember, we still haven't spent any souls that... or lost any souls that were relevant. You could just come up with the sledge. He can't do anything about it. Hi, Mr. Dragon. You can't do anything about this. Like, if you had a bow, you could just come here and just start throwing things at him. Do I have... Yeah. Oh. Throw it at the hand, maybe. Like, you could aim with an actual, like, bow or something, but... There it is. 123 damage. He does not care. He absolutely does not care. You could just go up there and just shoot him with arrows until he was dead. You'd have to have arrows, obviously, or you'd have to have something else to throw at him. Like, you'd have to have enough fire bombs to roast his health bar or something, but... Super easy, barely an inconvenience. To have a catchphrase. Hello, dragon. Uh-huh. So you can grab that if you want it. I'll do it now. It's a little spicy to grab. I didn't want to initially grab it. So I would not advise grabbing it your first time pass. I would come back for this. But brigand outfit, if you want the brigand outfit early game. The reason I say that is there is a much closer bonfire. So instead of having to run past the big dragon again, instead of having to run past all the streaks in between, up this elevator is a bonfire that just makes it super, super easy. But we now have the brigand set if we wanted it. I don't really know if we care, but you know, there it is. Boop. I like comfy music. That's always nice to have in the background. Slap the bonfire. Make triple sure you sit at this bonfire. Like, you're probably fine either way, but make triple sure you sit at this bonfire. It's kind of important. Because this nerd just spawn camps you right there. Green crest shield. Super important, not because you're going to actually use the... Sir? Thank you. You're not going to actually use the shield, but it gives you a boost to stamina regen, which is just so nice. Backstab, backstab. I mean, you don't need it, but it's, you know, it's just nice. It's just nice. I'm in a bad spot. Ow. Like, need is a strong word. I don't think you need it. I don't think I need it. But again, for a newer player as well, that's okay. I mean, unfortunate we died, but that's the thing is this bonfire is literally right here and you have no souls worth losing. So, like, we can even come in here. But yeah, let me slightly increase stamina recovery. Move the gloves again. I kind of like the brigand armor. So we can try and fight him here. No, this is another, like, Dark Souls, like, obvious, but, like, you know, not obvious kind of thing. Oops. You just jump off the cliff. What's he gonna do about it? You know? No, that was not the point I was making. That was not the point I was... I'm really just clumsy today. I don't know what it is. But, like, we have no souls worth speaking of, so, you know, there's no real cost or risk to doing this. But no, this is Dark Souls 101. The thing is, the game doesn't tell you that it is more than happy to actually let you just utilize. He will follow me all the way up here. Instead of trying to fight him in that narrow little hallway, I can come fight him up on this nice big round arena, where it's a lot easier to circle around behind him. Oh. And look at that. Punt. And he's gone. And he's just gone. That's it. That's like the simple as that. Enemy defeated. And that's what I mean when I'm just like, yeah, there's certain things the game just doesn't just hand you on a silver platter. Like, how much work have we actually had to do here? Like, obviously we've been, you know, doing stuff, but... Remember the time I said we needed a bow earlier? Oh, hey, look, it's a long bow. There's a long bow with some arrows, so as long as we could get maybe a few more arrows to be safe. That is lighter armor, surprising. And yeah, we have just all of these weapon choices. Oh yeah, the Sora Straight Sword. This is probably... It does split physical and magical damage. Which, for an early game weapon, that magic damage is huge. What? Don't backstep. I'm just gonna keep poking this. There we go. That took way too many pokes. Now, our stats are a little kind of funny right now, so we might have to be a little... We could go back and level. We could take these souls back and immediately level up if we really wanted to be maximum safe. I'm kind of just coping at the moment. I'm confident enough in the fact that I am falling to my death repeatedly that will be fine. We might not be, admittedly, but... I do find it funny that the Azora Straight Sword does magic damage scaling off of your faith. I will make that comment. Like, I'm not against it. I don't hate it. I just find it kind of funny. This guy, he just spams projectiles as long as you don't get too close to him. Like, and you don't want to get protected. Like, look how passive he is. Look how passive he is. And, oh look, second blacksmith. We're gonna set up the bonfire first to be extra safe at this, just in case, but... Bonfire lit. And pop up. Push our faith up to 13. Use all those souls of proud whatevers that we found along the way. Look at that, an extra 2,000 souls. Pump that one up. Round that off because I like round numbers. And we currently have 92 attack rating on this S-Stock. What if we pumped that up to, I don't know, 187? From 92 to 187. Like... Oh, there we go. And then we can even come down here to push it one further. Learn gesture, because we can. Reinforce weapon. So if we can get 2,000 souls, we can actually upgrade this even further for an extra 16, 17, 19, 20 damage. So we could get another 20 attack rating on top of whatever we currently have. So an extra 20 attack rating on top of that, that puts us over 200 attack rating. This early in the game. Which I guarantee we can get over that number. Boo, boo. There it is. 2,321 souls. Come back to this. Now, I would not advise spending your Twinkling Titanite like this on a regular basis, but again, I'm making decisions here. I can upgrade it again for another same amount. Yeah, same amount. For another 20, but 206 AR. 206 AR, and we haven't even fought a boss yet. We could even finish up the rest of these souls. Boop. And these are all fixed items. Like that, the shield, the Dark Knight shield doesn't count because that's a rare drop, but everything else we found along the way here has been just something you could guarantee find. I'm rounding this off to make it a round number. I would never suggest you put points in attunement, but I now have 2 attunement slots, so if I find the Pyromancy Flame, I can put on Pyromancy Flame and Fireball. If I go get a Catalyst, I can put on a Catalyst and Cure Poison. And it doesn't cost me anything, because like there is no FP bar in this game. Everything is just limited by its own number of uses. And then we just come up here and look at it, just look at how much damage we do to the random normal enemies. One shot. We one-shot the first enemies of the game. Now, in fairness, of course we do, because the first enemy is the game, but like, that's just it, is like for how early game we are. Hello, nerd. Ow. Now, remember the thing I said about fighting enemies where you want to fight them? Nothing says we have to fight him in here. He will happily accompany us to a better arena to fight him. This one's nice and flat. It's nice and wide. We just bait him out here instead. What's the game do about it, right? Like, ow. Now, I'm being clumsy here. But that said, even trading, look at this. Look at how much damage we've done to him. There's no roll here, there's no block here. He dies in 5 hits. And he gives us a Titanite Shard. Very polite of him. And that's what I mean. Like, hey, remember that bow we found earlier? Remember that bow that we just picked up along the way here? We have a longbow, we have feather arrows. Bonk. Bonk. Oh, look at that. Enemy caster has been defeated. Ow. Oh, hello, sir. Did not realize you were... Can I get out of this mode? Did not realize you wanted to come say hi. My bad. I'm so sorry. Oh. Am I fat rolling? No. Is that really what a medium roll is in this game? Holy heck, I've been spoiled. I have been absolutely spoiled by the other Dark Souls games. Okay. Anyway. No item. Now, we've accidentally pulled 2 here, so we're gonna have to play aggressive to just get this guy off the table. And importantly, these guys can actually drop Titanite shards. Man, that Estus Chug. That is some, like, old Monster Hunter game levels of Estus Chug right there, where you just plant your feet, spread your legs, drink. But, I mean, look at how much just we've absolutely cut out of this area now. Like, we're supposed to approach from down here. Now, obviously, again, that is just partially, like, you know, that is just how the game be, but this is partially the Master Key at work. This is partially just showing the strength of the Master Key, and why it's both good and bad. What sentence did you hear out of context, Ulner? What could you have possibly heard? Oh, hello, sir. Excuse me. You know, in the same way you can choose to fight enemies at certain places, you can also choose to just not fight certain enemies. He cannot fit through here. And butt stab. Oh, we've made a friend, we made a friend. What's he gonna do about it, right? Like... What if you missed Ulner? Ah, and defeated. And defeated. Look at this. This is just handled. Throw this back open now that it's been closed once. That will close behind you if you're not careful. You do have to keep an eye out on that. There's a halberd. So we still haven't fought any real bosses yet. And this is, we have a halberd, we have a winged spear, we have a morning star, an S-stock, a Zweihander, and a straight sword, and our starting weapon. And we've got the bandit outfit, and we've got the leather armor. Hi. Can I have you back, please? Can you just... No? Okay. These guys are just stood on top of each other. Hello. Ow. I love how slow the arrows are in this game, too. Like, that's another thing that I think they, like, is very much an intentional design decision. They want you to see these arrows coming. Like... Look at that. Look at how slowly that goes past. Like, as long as you're moving at all, you are not getting caught out by those arrows. Hello, sir. Excuse me. Thank you. So this is another funny, like, cinematic storytelling moment kind of thing. The game gives you alluring skulls, or more of, like, incentive. Attracts certain type of enemies. Souls are a concentration of life, and the life-starved hollows are lured by its power. Oh, look! It's right over this fire pit. That giant pork, if you throw the alluring skull into the fire, it will just walk into the fire. It won't question it, it won't complain, it'll just happily walk into the fire looking for the alluring skull that you threw down. This is a door to nowhere, sadly. There is an enemy up there that we're going to come back for. As you can see, there's one fire on the other side of that gate that we're going to go get first. Don't ever get cornered by the rats. That is always the first thing to be careful of, is just positioning. Ow. Ow. Sir, please. Sir, please. Thank you. Because if you have even 2 rats on you, they do that, and you just suffer. If you are ever in a pinch for healing, you can absolutely just use the humanity. And you will hold on to that soft humanity so long as you always recover your souls. Even if you die, as long as you manage to recover your souls, you will get it back. Get some free armor off this nerd. Yeah, I've just been giving the little, like, best demo I can, in all honesty. If you have any questions, you're more than free to rewind as needed, go back as needed, ask him as needed. There it is. But yeah, admittedly, this is the back path, and I would advise against this path too much because you do kind of, like, you get a lot of options, you get a lot of utility. You do kind of rip the game wide open. I'll come back. No, we'll take that. We'll take that. Just pump up our health bar a little bit more. In this game, I think the light versus medium load is very, very, very tangible. Like, that's the big one. Because, like, these rolls... first off, I need to stop jump rolling. So, right here, this is actually one of the really important points. Because we took the back path, there's no dragon here. Normal progression through the game. I don't know if we'll be able to see it from up here. Because, yeah, it's down there. A dragon swoops in and lands on that bridge over there. That is actually an area, like, you can see so much of this game. Like, that's actually, like, that's the, you up into there, that's where Tauros Demon is. You come across that bridge, down. But if you take that path, a dragon spawns here and breathes fire on you. It doesn't permanently lock you out of this place, but it makes it a lot harder to get to this place. Bump, bump. And yeah, just look at just the absolute damage difference here. Because these enemies respawn, I can just show you the damage expected to be doing against them here. Like, what's a good example? We have 206 AR right now. The Astok is a guaranteeable early game weapon. So I will absolutely plop my feet down here. Now I could go that way as a demo, but I think this is a better direction because it's just gonna be one dude. But yeah, okay, so we're gonna take the Astok, one of the available early weapons. 19 damage a stab. 19 damage a stab. A straight sword. 65. Because damage isn't percentile based. I mean, it's not quite the same at the very least. Like, it is a difference of 100 attack rating, so we should be doing a difference of 100 damage, and we're not, admittedly. But that's because the weapon does split damage, like it does magic and physical, so both of those are getting reduced by flat defense. So it's not quite 1-to-1 on that, but that's still, you know, 16 damage as opposed to, you know, 60 damage. We're doing, what, 4 times as much, 5 times as much damage? Oh, right, so, this is another one of those just kind of like copium luck things right here. Gonna pop this. So, humanity actually affects discoverability. I should have shown it beforehand. Our item discovery right now, though, is up at 173. It starts at around 100. But that humanity is boosting it to nearly double at this point. Not quite literally double, but nearly double, effectively. Hello. Boop, boop. There it is. And in fairness, so the dragon that drops down here as well, he actually, so the Asura Street Sword currently has about 200 attack rating. The dragon actually also gives you a sword that also has about 200 attack rating. And doesn't even scale off of stats, making it probably the best new weapon in the game. Sir. Thank you. Thank you, Dark Souls. Just bounced clean off of his head, just flew over him right there. I wish I didn't get such funny deaths so often. Like, I'm glad that they're funny at least, but oh my god. Like, I feel bad that I just bounce. Like, I just slip and slid over across his dome right there. Alright, sir, come here. Come here. No, 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 no. Come here. Hi. Thank you. Thank you. But yeah, and this is not... I would not build around the Asura Straightsword. It does fall off later. There are better options later. And this weapon does require Twinkling Titanite to build up on, so you're losing out on other weapon options, which is not really fantastic. But, that said, you know, there are advantages and disadvantages. I'm using it because I really like it. And because it's so accessible. Like, this weapon will probably... If you build into this weapon... And I'm not saying pump faith. I'm not saying pump faith. I'm just saying, like, if you just minimum stats this weapon, this will last you, honestly, until you have better options. And I'm actually going to try and get better options here, too. Bonk. And bonk. There we go. Secret merchant down here to benefit exploration. This is not the merchant. It'd be funny if he was the merchant, but this is not the merchant. Yeah, got the merchant here. Rancor, welcome in, welcome in. How are you doing tonight? But he'll sell us the residence key, he'll sell us the bottomless box. Both of these are just convenient. He will sell us a variety of weapons as well. So we could have a scimitar, a short sword, a dagger. Thank you, thank you, thank you for popping in, Python. Always appreciated. Always happy to have you in here. We can buy extra item options. And the chain armor is honestly not bad for its value. Like, obviously not the best armor in the game, but this game is very much about playing with the numbers that you have. Like, oh, gotta drop back here. But yeah, so the spawn condition for the dragon is that tunnel right here. This tunnel right here spawns the stinky dragon. See? And now, that stinky dragon. I'm doing good, I'm doing good. I'm having a lot of fun playing around, doing some memes. Boop. Kind of just demoing Dark Souls, because I know, like, oh, they're starting a playthrough of it soon, and I know I've played a lot of it on the channel, but I don't know how much people actually understand of the game. So I figured it'd be good to just kind of, like, show off, play around, do a meme. Boop. Boop. Kill him through the wall because I can. And some of this is knowledge. That's the other thing. That's the other example here. It's like, there's no skill here, right? Like, I'm taking these attacks to the face. I am taking half these attacks to the face, and I'm just pushing one button. I'm just pushing R2. I'm pushing R2 because it's a big points. Thank you for the hearts. Appreciated. I'm just pushing R2 to swing around. I'm just pushing buttons. Like, this isn't me doing anything above and beyond skill-wise or anything. This is just knowledge. This is just a lot of knowledge-based benefits and decision-based benefits. Open this door. Like, right here, even, I'll happily show you this one. 2 enemies right here, right? I'm gonna make my way down, and oops, there's an arrow. If I knew that there was a guy behind me with the bow, I could kill him and just not have to deal with this, right? Like, it's... The game's not hard because there's a guy with an arrow up there. I mean, it is, but, like... Is stopping him hard? Was that difficult? Was there any actual difficulty in this game, right? Like, oh look, there's clearly a barrel with a dude behind it up here. Oh no, he kicked it at me. And, like, you could take that slow. Like, you could take that... Hey, we got a free longsword. Nice. You could take that slow. You could see that he does that. You could be like, oh, understandable. Have a nice day. And just walk away. Like, absolutely could. Kick this open. Grab some gold pine resin. Like, so far, anything that's been difficult has been statistically just out of our league. Or... inconvenient, or, you know, does not open from the side. That's fine. And I think that's really neat. Like, for how intimidating to approach this game is, a lot of that is just very, very basic. We could actually get down there as well if we really wanted to and just skip the Tauros Demon. But I want to fight the Tauros Demon specifically, like, actually want to. Sit this floor. Yep, there it is. Hey, look, a Titanite Demon. Twinkling Titanite. 2 more Twinkling Titanites for a sword. 2 more Twinkling Titanites for a sword. Now, do you remember how at the end of that last tower, there was an enemy and a tower behind us with archers? This isn't even a surprise. The game actively showed us, hey, there are archers up the tower behind you. 1 enemy pack ago. Like, in the same area. It's not even like a new area. It's like, yeah, sometimes enemies are on ledges behind you. Did I eat? Oh, yeah, I ate all the humanity. That's fine. That's fine. Chug. Tauros Demon pops up now. Now, this is where the first real challenge comes in, because he's got these big wide attacks. And he's on this really narrow platform. And as you can see, he's a very difficult boss. One of the hardest walls in all of Dark Souls history, incredibly difficult for a lot of first-time players. But, you know, sometimes you just are the better player. Sometimes you're just really good at the game, and you beat the boss. It's that easy. It's just that easy. Sometimes you just beat the boss, you know? Not everyone can be as good as me, and I recognize that, you know? One day you guys will get there too, I promise. And Solar Friend. Look, for all the ledges that I've fallen off of, he deserved to fall off there. You know, for all the ledges I've fallen to my death on. Yes. Oop. Oh my god. That'll teach you to mash through dialogue. That'll teach you to mash through dialogue. But yeah, so remember that time that I was like, hey, there's no dragon here? Guess what, chat? Now there is. Now there is. And that's normally what's supposed to happen if you progress past the Tauros Demon to get here. That said, even he has disadvantages. Again, in that category of like newer players and stuff. Boop. Let me... Boo. I hear an enemy wiggling around up there. Boop. Uh-huh. Yep, whenever you're good, whenever you're good. If you're ever a new player that's stuck, there is no shame in this. There is no shame at all in this. It's really funny because I might not have brought enough arrows with me. I'm kind of just hoping that I have enough dexterity for this, but I might have to go back and like shamefully buy arrows, which would just be really funny. Yeah, Mr. Draken, anytime, anytime. No problem. You take your time, you take your time. This feels like it's one of those, like, it's in the guide secrets where, like, this is designed for one person to find out accidentally and tell everyone on the internet. This does not feel like normal, intuitive player secrets. This feels like one of those absolutely just, like, oh, yeah, obviously. Like, what do you mean you didn't know this was here? You just have to go get it. What do you mean? Boop. What do you mean you didn't know this was here? Of course it is. And he's back. Bonk. And plonk. It definitely takes a minute, but this gives you the easy access. Like, this gives you a weapon that can carry you through the majority of the early and mid game. The problem is it doesn't really stick around for very well. Like, Dark Souls 1 early game is very much just getting over the starting power curve, but mid to late game, you have to have a build. And it doesn't have to be a specific build. You don't have to go Faith, you don't have to go Magic, you don't have to go Intelligence, you just have to do something. If you don't do at least something, it's gonna be a little awkward. There it is. Trick Sword. And so, this is, as comparison to the Astora Straight Sword, this gives us 198 attack. We don't have enough strength to use this, but if we did, it's 200 flat. You can see it actually doesn't have any parameter bonuses, which means it doesn't get any scaling at all. It just has 200 flat attack, lets you bop things. And notably, it does attack type regular instead of attack type slash, instead of attack type thrust. Like, dagger does slash, you know, this does thrust, this does regular, which is its own weird, like, if you look at, like, physical defense, and then first strike, first slash, first thrust, you get all those different numbers. And while I don't have enough strength to wield this with one hand, I absolutely have enough to, no, two hand. Never mind, I lied, I don't have enough to two-hand in. What is... Oh, no, I need, like, one more, don't I? That's fine. But yeah, that sword will work just as well for anything you might need to do. Oh. And, oh, look, it's another Dark Souls blind corners. They love these. Dark Souls absolutely loves to hide enemies behind blind corners. Now, a lot of the time, it actually does make sense. Either it's an intentional ambush, or they're just spread circularly around the room and happen to be there. So, like, it's not like a complaint. It's not like a criticism. It's just kind of more of a warning and a statement of like, hey, they like to do this. They really like to just kind of do this meme. And there are ways sometimes to handle it. Like, sometimes you can check it with a weapon. Sometimes you can bring different types of weapons. Sometimes you can actually try and use it against them, hit them through the wall. Not always, but sometimes you can just come over here and be like, bonk. Nope, no luck. Bonk. Nope. Grab souls, back up. And the easier way is you just walk through the door and then you step backwards. Because they will usually try and rush you. They'll usually try and just run at you the moment you walk through the door to ambush you. And you can kind of use that against them in those places like that. Climb way up. But normally this would be blocked. And with the dragon breathing fire and that blocked... Oh, he's gone. Bye-bye. Bye, dragon. He normally lives up there until you get into the shrine. Alright, pump 2 into strength, because that will actually let me do a little bit of comparison math for you guys here. Use souls. The other one, please just spend your souls. I know this sounds silly, please spend your souls. Because if you spend all your souls, you can't lose all of your souls when you die. I know that sounds stupid, but yeah, so... Here, I can just put... Yeah, I have both these on. So, using these guys as comparisons again. 153 damage. Nope, that's... There you go. Oh, come back, I'm fighting you, sir. Sir. First, 112 damage. So this does, because it's doing one damage type instead of split, it's not being reduced as much by armor. Also it does that. Now, the thing to be really, really, really careful with, that just consumed 30 durability. That just ate up 30 flat durability from the weapon. And Dark Souls 1 is happy to break your weapons. It is thrilled to break your weapons. So, I would be very, 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 very careful with doing memes like that. But you could take that. Now see how we're... Oh, remember, I mentioned we're at 173 item discovery before? We're now at 192. We've now helped our way up, all the way up to 192 item discovery. So again, we're just continuing to climb on that one. And now that we have basically double our starting item discovery, why don't we come up here and start doing some math? Hey, sir, would you like to give me your weapon? Ow. That did 99 damage without the backstab. Ow. Now, I actually like fighting him here, for the most part, except for the fact that I couldn't move. And that was more just awkward control issues than anything else. Like, that's not a bad thing, that's not a horrible thing, that was just its own kind of meme. I mean, this is... And this weapon is very stereotypical of Dark Souls playthrough. Like, this is the weapon you grab when your run kind of just goes to hell. When you start struggling with the game because you've been outscaled, most players will even advise, like, not even they'll just choose to. A lot of players will even advise other players, go get this weapon. Now, once I get the chance, if I can just lure him down here. I'm gonna lure him down here, yeah? So, I like fighting him up there because I like the circle. But you can absolutely lure him down here instead to have a bit more of, like... I wouldn't say it's more room, but I'd say it's better room. Right? Like... Ow! That was a bit homing. That was a bit more connected than that was. The other one is the soul safety. Even if this place is slightly worse to fight him at, if I die here, my souls are guaranteed safe, right? If I die at the top of the tower, I have to risk running past him to get my souls back. Whereas if I die here, there's nothing really guarding my souls. Right? Like, if I die here, all I have to do to get my souls back, run up to this guy, who dies in one hit. Boop. Retrieval. So that is actually, like, again, decision-making in Dark Souls. You could just choose to go do this, and it's a lot more comfortable of a decision. Now, again, you lose out on a better arena to fight him in. And backstab. And this is, again, like, enemies in Dark Souls. Dark Souls 1 especially. There was no roll. There was no dodge. There was no roll. There was just walk around him. I just casually walked a small circle around him and he fell over. That's all it took, right? Like, that's all that we had to do. But yeah, so we've got this open. I'm gonna do a little bit of a sprint through here because, I mean, I one-shot these enemies anyway, so boop. Boop. Ow. Oh yeah, the other funny thing this weapon does, once we get to a slightly better position to actually show it off. Let me remove this for weight purpose. Ooh, I'm still fat rolling, aren't I? I haven't even been using this. There we go. They might chase me. If they do, oh well. Ow. There we go. Okay, that guy's definitely aggro. We definitely have to fight this guy. Got him, got him. And sprinting. Yeah, I mean, this is honestly, like... Again, I know what I'm doing, so obviously there's a lot less... I'm still dying here. Like, I'm not playing flawlessly by any stretch, but this is just... You can make the game a lot more casual than it honestly seems like it is sometimes. And then this is another... Items, not this one. Soul... Nope. Use item, soul lost it dead. Let's just keep these coming. So upgrading is a little expensive in this game, which, you know, probably could dissuade some. But we have a couple Titanite shards, a couple large Titanite shards, we have a Titanite chunk even. And very, very, very importantly... Hello, sir. Reinforced weapon. So this, obviously, again, like, we can pump this up, this uses Twinkling Titanite. We can push this to silly levels if we want to. We're gonna hold on to that for now, though. Basic starting longsword, right? Reinforce once. Every reinforcement is adding 11 more damage to this thing. And purchase items. He sells Titanite shards. He sells the Titanite shards for us. So we can actually come here, make this +3. Now, immediately having pushed this to +3, so the Drake Sword that I'm using right now, Drake Sword has 200 flat with no scaling. So no matter what, it's going to be 200 damage. If we two-hand the longsword instead, though, we're at 136, and this is only at +3 right now. Now, yes, you can also upgrade the Drake Sword, but that's exactly the thing, is again, that like damage disparity, it really narrows down because you don't get any scaling. Because it doesn't get any scaling from like stats, and this is with like no strength, this is with like no dexterity. Ow, what a weird... I want him for souls. Excuse me, sir. Third, yeah. I look how wide his swings go. Like, if you just get out from in front of him. Can I use this? Ah, it's not worth. Yeah, that's better. Much better to just go 1, 2, 3 on that. Just get out of those swings. That is such an awkward move that just always catches me. I don't know why it does. I mean, there we go. Now, he should actually... This game does have stagger, just like the other Dark Souls games do, though it's a bit flakier. Ow. You can still stagger him, but stagger this game seems to be a lot more weapon-based and a lot more... I don't know, just damage-based, I want to say? I don't remember. Maybe it's not actual damage-based. I don't entirely remember. It's been a bit. I did not rest at the other bonfire. And now I'm punished for my sins. Sir, excuse me. Thank you. Alright, we gotta run back there to be safe. Boop, boop. But again, I think even that, like, look at how different these experiences could be right here. Like, you could have the Drake Sword running around slapping things, or you could have a +3 long sword, or you could have a completely unupgraded bandit's knife. And that's just right there going to be that disparity of, like, ow, I should not be messing around with this, I should not be playing around with this, excuse me. Yep, I need to go get the humanity. Sorry, sir, I would love to use you as the tech demo, but I gotta go get my stuff back first. But yeah, remember I'm one-shotting these guys normally? Look how different this is. 11 damage. I went from one-shotting these guys to doing 11 damage. Now, like, let's even use the longsword. We've just upgraded the starting longsword here. 81 damage. We're back up at 81 damage now. From 11 to 81. This is the longsword. This is not the Asura straight sword. This is not the Drake sword. This is just upgrading the longsword. And instead of doing 11 damage, we're doing 80 damage. Because overcoming that base defense is worth so much more than just anything else in this game. That having that difference just really matters. I don't have any more of this. Boop. And that's a really cool thing. I like that about this game. But like, as far as, you know, for newer players, for struggling players, the amount of impact that that can have on your run, because this is the beginning of the game still. The bandit's knife at the beginning of the game to the starting enemies is doing 11 damage per swing, when you could instead be doing 80. Yeah, why does that always catch me? Like, even when I roll. Oh, stuck on the pillar. Back up. Nice and slow projectile. It wants to be dodged. I swear that projectile just wants to be dodged. Why did that bounce off the... Weird. Oop. Alright, get 300 damage in. Back off. Tail catches me. His entire hitbox does like to catch me. It's like caught by the arm, caught by the tail. Not actually caught by him half the time. Yes, that one. I don't know the roll timing on that. That's just me being bad, though. But even then, it's not lethal. No, back up. Third swing. That was bad and greedy, but he jumps away. We get the heal, and nothing matters. Oh my god, his health bar is so low. His health bar is so low. I mean, I was being greedy there. I just thought he was going to fall over dead. That's on me. I thought he was just going to die. Maybe I shouldn't have, but... Oh yeah, that's the other thing. The Drake Sword is really kind of funny. It actually... Is it this one that does it? Yeah, if you unequip it, it lowers your magic... Like, it actually bumps up your magic and flame defense. It's a hidden just thing of the Drake Sword, is it bumps up your magic defense and your fire defense, which doesn't really matter against this guy in particular, but like, you know, free defense is, again, for making the game easier for a newer player, getting a little bit more defense just for, you know, without wasting equip load on anything, because it's just the sword you're using. Roll. Thank you. So normally you want to heal when safe and punish when safer. Like, that's how it feels really intuitive. It's like, oh, I want to back off and heal. But right here, I know I'm safe. Like, I know I'm safe there. So you attack instead. Boop. And yeah, we can just bait him around into attacks too. Like, he likes using that one. Maybe let's just back roll on that. Bonk. 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 Roll. Bonk. And yeah, if you just take it slow on this guy and you just bonk him once and roll away, there's the stagger. You don't get a front stab on him, sadly, but... And Demon Titanate. So we still haven't fought a real boss. We're still just kind of like mucking about and being nuisances. But we're just slowly amassing this pile of stuff here. And with all those souls, again, reinforced weapon. Let's just keep pumping up the longsword. We need 2 more of these. Reinforced weapon. We need 3 more Titanite shards, which we can't actually afford. That's fine. So we need 2 more shards, which is another 1,000 souls. So we need to just go collect the 1,000 souls real quick. No problem. And then we can upgrade our longsword again to +4. And that's just giving you, you know, again, that, like, comfy, cozy, like, stuff the average player isn't going to have going into Dark Souls that I think makes the game so hard for so many people, is just that lack of accessibility. Because, like, just, even in this just little sample, like I've shown, like, the difference between doing 11 damage and doing 150 damage. Right? Like, here's an S stock. How much does the S stock do unupgraded? 20. $24. Longsword +4. Oh. So S stock is doing 20. Excuse me, shield. 57. 57 one-handed. Like, that's double to triple the damage. Like, there's just no even, like, bartering on that one. It's just like, because early game the defenses are so, you know, important, you're just losing out on just triple the damage. Nope. Look at that, 106. 106, and roll backwards. Now, these guys in particular actually can drop Titanate as well. So not only do we need to collect 1,000 souls anyway, which, you know, they drop a good bit of souls. Oh, sir. Sir. That's fine, that's my bad. I was playing reckless, I was playing greedy, I was memeing around with them, I wanted to see what would happen, but yeah, I mean, that's exactly it right there. Like, doing 20 damage against this enemy versus doing 60 damage against this enemy. Because that's the thing, is he brings friends, right? Like, so that's where stuff really snowballs out of control. Is if you're trying to fight 3 enemies and you have to sit there whittling each one down individually, you're going to get swarmed. And getting swarmed is kind of skill issue, kind of like actual just... What's easier, fighting 3 enemies one at a time, or fighting, you know... Like, he's dead before this guy even gets to us. He's dead. That guy hasn't even moved yet. And he's dead. Imagine if instead we had to fight each of those enemies all at the same time. You know, fight the 2 melee guys while getting shot at with a shield. Alright. The one on the back is aggroed. You have to be really careful with your observations on this to make sure you don't accidentally get swarmed as well. Because, yeah, I mean, right here even. Same example, you know. Versus if I walk in here and I aggro both of them, I now have to keep an eye on both of them. And if I'm fighting these guys for 20 damage a second, or for 20 damage a swing, as opposed to just doing that, like, I still got hit on that exchange. Right? Like, and that was 100 damage to one of them. But, imagine if I didn't kill that one. Imagine how different this looks. Roll out of the way, and got him. Balder leggings. And that's what I think is so neat about the game. That's what I really like about the game, partially. Like, once you have that information, the game becomes so accessible. And the game doesn't, you know, stop you from upgrading your weapons, but it doesn't broadcast a lot of that information very well. It's just like, yeah, here's a blacksmith. The blacksmith upgrades your weapons. That's probably a good idea, you know? Like, that's it. That's all it tells you. It doesn't even say it's probably a good idea. You're just, you know, intuitively upgrading your weapons sounds like a good idea. But when you get there with, you know, 1,000 souls and 3 Titanite shards, do you really want to spend your 3 Titanite shards? Like, right now? Like, what if you get a better weapon later? What if you find something else you want to play around with? Like, the way this game skills, we're still on, like, enemy drops and stuff, like... Because you can buy Titanite shards at 800 apiece. First off, you have to, like, find out that you can do that. Which isn't too hard to find out. Like, it's not impossible information, but... You're probably not going to think about that when you go to upgrade your first weapon. And then... Pairing off that... Boop, boop, boop. You know, how many weapons do I have right now? Like, I am sat here with Bandit's Knife, Longsword, ignoring these because these are both kind of uniques you probably don't know about. Claymore, Zweihander, Rapier, S-Stock, Morningstar, Winged Spear, Halberd, Long... Like, how do you know which weapon you want to upgrade? Now, yeah, you just upgrade the one you're using because you're using it and that's what matters, but, like, you know... Again, reasonability, practicality, etc., like... Hello... You will naturally find the key to open a cell anyway. Like, technically the master key opened that for me, but if you went the normal route, you would have found the non-master key that opens that door. Almost assuredly. Almost assuredly. Humanity. Now, unless you know your souls will always be safe, I don't advise doing this. But, again... We're up to 204 item discovery. We're up to 204 item discovery, having started at 100. Like, that's not nothing. I mean, that's, you know, literally twice the chance at finding item drops. We found Balder leggings, we found the Rapier. We could probably find a Balder straight sword if we pushed hard enough. But yeah, for the average player, you're not going to know what items you want to upgrade. You're not going to want to know, like... That's very reasonably going to, like, hold you back. And at this point, this is the thing. Like, this is the longsword that I'm using. I stopped using the Asura straight sword. I stopped using the Drake sword. I am just using the longsword on this. Let me wiggle on down. Boo. We don't really need to mess with bonfire at the moment because it doesn't matter. Found a large soul. Chug it. So, we needed 2 more Titanite shards. Purchase item, Titanite shard, 2 of them. Reinforced weapon, longsword +5. And then we get to come over to modify equipment, which we can't actually do yet. We have to find him and Ember. But, even ignoring that, this is now a +5 weapon. It's not as strong as the Drake sword, admittedly, but it's at 157. This went from 80 to 157. This is doing more damage than the Claymore would be doing. And the Claymore is a heavier sword that's going to attack slower. It's a heavier... Now, in fairness, we could have upgraded the Claymore instead, but, like, again, just, like, using the starting weapon examples. Like, the amount that we've gained at this point. And that's the thing, too, is these guys don't despawn. They keep dropping things. Now, I wouldn't say it's fun to sit here and farm these. I wouldn't say just sit here and farm these forever. That's probably not the most fun thing to do in the world. But you could farm the 4, if not 5. I'd say 4. Because the 5th one's kind of annoying to get to. But you could farm these 4 Boulder Knights for Titanite Shards. And use the souls they give to get more Titanite Shards. You could have a +5 weapon going into Gargoyles. Nothing is stopping you from having a +5 weapon going into Gargoyles. But the average player, I guarantee you won't. The average first-time player will not have a +5 weapon going into Gargoyles. Look at that. Titanite Shard. He just saved us 800 souls. Boop. Stop greeting. Boop. Come back. Come in. There you go. Got him. And final one. Bonk. And then, yeah, there's one more up here that's pretty easy to access. Let me go grab him. Hello, sir. And then the last one is on the other side of... And the stairs even give you the advantage on this guy, right? Because, like, he's kind of bamboozled by the stairs. Boop. Buckler, Balder Helm, and Balder Gauntlets. Look at that. He's dropping armor for us. He's dropping weapons for us. Like, right, the elevator down here. And at this point, like, I used the other stuff to facilitate it, but 157 versus 200 is not that big of a difference. Obviously, yeah, like, there are benefits and detriments to each, but... Oh yeah, this is just another really early game secret right here. Let me... Boop. You can just do this. This looks like a stupid jump. This looks like a heckin' jump. It's not. There's no thought in that jump. You're fine. Just roll. Just roll. Look at that. There's another item I missed down there. Undead Asylum Key West. Now, why would they give us the Asylum Key at a place after the Asylum, chat? It's almost like they're trying to tell us something, because there's the big bird that brought us over. There's the big stinky bird that brought us over. There's a nest. This takes so unreasonably long the first time around. This takes so unreasonably long of just sitting here. There we go. And in fairness, the moment you see that you can be an egg, I imagine you're just like, well, I want to do that now. Like, I imagine the average player is just going to be like, yeah, I want to do that, gimme. Oh, look, remember that thing I said about getting swarmed by too many enemies at once? Ow. And the return of the kick button. You know, Elden Ring, I was glad you put it on L2. Thank you. I miss it being on L2. I miss it not being a button I have to worry about. That is the curse of this game. Forward attack is kick. So if you're holding forward and you try and move towards an enemy, you just kick them and you do no damage. And it's really good for breaking shields. It's not to say that it's... Also, I love this. This is my favorite little trick, like, thing in the game. Because the tutorial works backwards. And I don't know if that's intentional, but the tutorial works backwards, right? So you come back to the asylum, and it says, good job getting back to the asylum. Go straight ahead. And then if you go read that thing on the ground over there, it says look out because the floor collapses. Like, it says get away the moment you try and go near the floor, which the floor will actually, like, I'm not going to show it here because I have souls and humanity I don't want to drop. But that soul will, or that floor will actually collapse out from under you. So, like, the actual information the game left behind in the tutorial applies the other way around, and I think that's the coolest, silliest thing ever. Give me some more vitality. Once you have the min stats on a weapon, you want to just... Look at this, get your shield. It says get your shield. And why does it say get your shield? Oh, look, there's a Black Knight up there. The game says get your shield, and then it puts a Black Knight in front of you. It's like, oh, hey, I should, you know... And remember that thing about hallways and fighting enemies where you want to be fighting enemies? Because... Also, terrain works really well in these guys. Roll backwards. Because they have very horizontal swings. Recipient. Roll backwards. Ow! There's a Sager. Bad potion, bad potion, bad potion. Yep. This is me again choosing to fight him. This is not the best place to fight him, but it makes my souls incredibly safe to retrieve. Like, I guarantee you my souls are safe here if I die, because then I don't have to run, you know, I have to run the whole hallway again to get back to him. So he's not gonna, like, threaten to steal my souls. Ow! There we go. And... Now, you can choose to fight him in better terrain as well. I'm also gonna, like... As much as showcasing this thing existing, I am just going to use the better weapon because I have it, just because this is more of showcasing and more of explaining and more sampling. Like, I don't need to do, again, be even there, like 35 damage a swing, 62 damage a swing. I've doubled my damage from, even though it's only an increase of 50, because defenses are just so weird in this game. Ow. Roll. Roll behind, and fail to backstab. And see, this is the part I was talking about, because my souls are now back here. My souls are now all the way back here behind where he starts. That's not where you want them. That is not remotely where you want them. They can still be gotten back. And as much as shield stinky poo poo doo doo, as much as shield bad, I will use the shield here just to showcase where they do come in handy. First off, I'm just using stamina back, but... Because right here, if you push your shield up against him, and you hold it, you will either, 1, end up behind him, or 2, he will bounce off your shield. Like, I'm still not a fan of shields, but... It's just guaranteed safety. This is a bad place to be fighting him, though. Very bad place to be fighting in. Pew. And that's where shields can actually come in handy, is just against this, like these types of enemies in particular. If you just hold your shield up, I didn't want to jump. I wanted to let go of the sprint button. Come here, you. I'm trying to get him to... bonk the shield because we might get a front stab out of it. Greedy of me, but might work. And yeah, these guys are the original, like, OG will run at you and stab you every time you go to Flask. Every time you go to Flask. Told you. And I don't know if it's because of Flask button or if it's just a range thing. But they will just always, like, you back roll, you're like, I'm safe here, I'm gonna pop. Yeah, see, it's just distancing. It's if you try and get away from them. Running stab every time. Now, I could have gone for the Flask there, but the backstab was worth more, because I can Flask while he's down. And enemy defeated. Red Titanite chunk acquired. Boom. And with him handled, we can go back up this way. So what I'm trying to use here, this is actually like mildly like techie kind of stuff. Oh, sir. Thank you. And tech is maybe the wrong word for it, but ow. So I'm trying to do some kind of mild shenanigans with this. That is not the right button. Here, let's circle around first to grab one more thing, because it will actually matter for us here. And look who's gone hollow. Now, he actually fat rolls as a player would, which is really kind of funny, because it's like... The moment he fat rolls, you can see immediately why fat rolling is so bad. Like, the moment he goes for a fat roll, you're just like, oh, you have chosen death. You have chosen the fat roll. Get a shield out of him. Get knocked down by this again. Boom. Hello, sir. Thank you. But I just kind of really like I still even think of these, because, you know, they're almost like reminders here. Like, I don't know if I'd say the tutorial is, maybe not all of it is intentionally, like, reversible, but it does do a good job of kind of just, I guess, reinforcing maybe while you're retreading the old grounds. Like, the Pelagic attack one's not too great, but it's like, even this, it reminds you of parrying, and it's like, oh, there was one dude in here, now there's two dudes in here. You know, it's kind of like a show your work, show what you've learned thing. That key we grabbed opens up the store, nice and easy. Now, this is actually really funny, because this actually matters. Remember, when we were fighting the Black Knight, we got in the water, and the water was kind of slowing us down a bit. Now, we have an item. Again, it reminds us of the backstep roll near the Black Knight and near our friend who was gone hollow. Which I believe he was actually supposed to have more of a narrative arc. Like, I believe he was supposed to do more than just go hollow down there, unfortunately. And resistance is the worst stat in the game. It does actually give you sizable poison resist, but that is the only thing it gives, and that's not worth. But yeah, with how strong base stats are, I am just going to push Vitality all the way up to 20. And then I'll come back for other stats later. But yeah, see, this water right here, we can now move around in it normally. This is how we move around in it without the ring. Versus, this is how we move around in it with the ring. But yeah, like, even here, like, it reminds you of how to target lock on. It reminds you how to... Boop. Hold the button to dash. Strong attack. Like, it reminds you of just, like, the combat tutorial, but it puts the Black Knight in the combat tutorial when you go back there. Now, again, we can fight him in a hallway if we want. Or... Ow. Or, instead of fighting him in a hallway, we can run him backwards. And run him to this little pond. Boop. And see, like, it even, like, messes with... Ow! That was my entire health bar. Yeah, so we can pull him back to this little pond. Now, the room is a little on the tight side, but because of the ledges, you can actually really use the ledges against him as well. And being able to use the ledges against him, I think, are a really big, really beneficial, like, kind of thing. I don't think this matters. Just keep us... I guess he's way less, which would enable us to wear nothing else. Doesn't matter. Yeah, okay. Was it better? But yeah, first off, it puts souls in the safe place. Second off, it gives us this nice little, just kind of, little loop we can do on him. Because we can run back up here, force him to come to us, and then we can jump down into the water and do it again. And instead of having to 1v1 him, instead of having to challenge him properly into his authority or whatever... Oop. Which, I mean, you can still fight him here. Yeah, what can I do for you? The power walk talking. I'm planning to put up an actual, like, YouTube video kind of breaking down a lot of the more, like, because I'm doing, like, long-form discussion on this. I should probably have done it the other way around, but whatever. Like, a lot of this is just showcasing ideas, because, you know, as noted here, it's like, you know, how many times have I just been like, oh, hey, look, what if you just put the enemy in a dumb spot and they don't know what to do about it? You can force them to fight in places that are safer for your souls. You can force them to fight in places that are just disadvantageous to them. Ow. And look, we need to heal, so we can just... Look at how much distance we can put on him right here, because he has to go up that staircase now. Now, in fairness, we don't want to fight him on the ledge, because that's kind of an awkward spot to be in, but... like, we can just fight him here. Roll behind him. Ow. He hits us, so we get a backstab on it, that's fine. We can just back up the stairs again. And again, just kind of, like, play around with his positioning a little bit. Because he falls back down, he has to go back over, we have to just come down here again. Get a plunging attack out of it, technically. Oh, bad swing. And down he goes. He does not spit out my favorite item, unfortunately. We had some bad luck on these. But so that's the thing, is we just killed 4... No, there's still one more, there's still one more, there's still one more. Yeah, so we've killed 4 of 5, right? No, we've killed 4 of 5 Black Knights. So there's one more Black Knight that we have just easy access to. This is a later game thing, doesn't really matter right now, but you have to come back here at some point eventually. And yeah, again, just that, like, cinematic storytelling. First off, this guy's impaled. Second off, look over there. You can see that there's another Asylum Demon in here. You can just see that there's another Asylum Demon right here, and let's just do some, like, mapping. So we're going to go left, we're going to go up, and then we're going to turn right. Right. So we're going to go up. We're now coming in behind where he is, because this game does have very correct, accurate, like, positioning. And, we've now turned, and, oh, look where it is. Oh, look where he's under. Ow. Yeah, sir, can I please just go about my business? Pop 1, and pop 2. But yeah, what do you want in that, Ulner? Is there any, like, particular information you want? Anything you'd want easily accessible? Anything you'd want, like, clarified on? Because I want it to be obviously, like, usable, not just, like, my own... Ow. The importance of one-shotting enemies in swarms cannot be understated. Oh yeah, this is just kind of like... I don't even know if I want to call this an Easter egg, it just kind of is, but... This is really awkward for one reason. I don't think they fixed it in the remaster. Yeah. So... in order to actually use the crows... Save game, return to title menu. You have to go back to title menu every time. I wonder why it's starting in offline mode. They ate my firebomb.
No, that.
Oh, they don't want a black firebomb. Alright, fair enough. Yeah, they weren't here before.
No.
Okay, they don't want the firebombs. Do they want Homeward Bone?
No.
Can I interest you in... I could have sworn they wanted firebombs. Alright, whatever.
No.
Oh god, no! Thank you, game. Trying to mash their dialogue and I just backstep off the cliff. Okay, that's fine. That's fine. That's fine. That's fine. Fine is a strong word, but that's fine. Hello, sir. Bonk. Okay, can I just have my souls back? I'd like to leave now. This game is so slidey. Okay, got those. I mean, this is just, like, this is... We're nearly 2 hours in, and this is just everything you can just do before even fighting gargoyles. Now, in fairness, I would say maybe gargoyles would be easier than the Black Knights. That's more, you know, its own thing to break down. But in general, right? Like, in general, you could still just go back there to explore, right? Like, at the very minimum. And I don't... The Black Knights are hard, but there's no cost on them. They have 0 chance of taking your souls as long as you don't fight them where they spawn. You can kite both of them back to a safe area that has nothing except a bonfire. So it's just really kind of... I'm not... We have to... I think this way's gonna be faster, yeah. There's one other thing that I missed, and I couldn't think of a faster way to get back to it. I guess missed is a strong word, but... And... There it goes. Oh, music did the boop, boop, boop. Okay, there we go. Yeah, I mean, good weight, good armor. Okay, so now we have to go back one more time through here, and this is me being reckless, but... Like I said, if you one-shot things in swarms, swarms aren't nearly as bad. That's not a one-shot. That is. And boop. Drop anything? Nope. I would still advise against doing that normally. Like, that is more of an I'm comfortable and I know what I'm doing kind of thing. But, like, you still can't do that. Like, you know. You can also just run past enemies, but some of these enemies are kind of just in awkward positions. Let me... Excuse me. Excuse me. Thank you. I don't know if the dragon is still going to try and kill us. This might be a bad idea. We'll find out. Because it seemed like the dragon flew away. We had its tail. We got rid of it. Oh. Oh, it's back. Hello, dragon. Welcome home. I missed you. So it flew away and came back. That's extra interesting. But yeah, there's the dragon. He's still vibing around. So I wanted to go down here. Boop. Okay, attack bonfire to be safe. Nerd. Welcome in, welcome in, welcome in. Like I said, blind pointers. Yes, you did, Baba. Okay. Free battle axe. Let's... This one. Wait, this one. There it is. Now, your weapons don't auto-repair in this, so you do have to keep a little bit of an eye on them. Like, it's still a lot. It's still a ton. You'll probably be fine, but I would just check on them from time to time. Just a little bit, just to be safe. I would still check on them. Yeah. Sneak our way up here. Get this guy. Sneak our way back here. Grab 1. Grab 2. Grab 3. Is this guy still up here? Yeah, he is. Okay, those guys are all handled. And once again, on our walk enemies away from their spots. Hello, Mr. Black Knight. Can you just, like, follow me real quick? I want to fight you up here. Backstab! That was not worth. Ranged attack. Ow. And got him. And there it is. That's what we've been looking for. So with our doubled drop rate off of all of that item discovery we've got, we managed to get the Black Knight sword, which is a great sword. When the Black Knight great sword is an ultra great sword, don't worry about it. Their normal sword is the great sword. But 20 strength, 18 dexterity, which, you know, you can push those numbers down a little bit by two-handing it. But deals increased damage to demons. And this thing is even better, like, this thing, so the Drake Sword has 200 base with no scaling on it. Thank you for the hearts. This has 220 and has scaling built in. Its stat requirements are a little thick. Like, its stat requirements are a little on the heavy side. Absolutely. Short sword. Boop. Yeah, exactly. But so that's what I mean though, is that like boosted drop rate, that good luck, like in the same way the Drake Sword has been trivializing like half of this, the Black Knight Sword trivializes even further. And obviously there, you should be focusing on, like, you shouldn't be trying to trivialize the game, you should be trying to overcome the game, but as far as just making the game easier goes, literally what weapon you have has a drastic impact on the difficulty of the game. And, like, it's something that I think a lot of people would just miss. Now, I'm not saying you should go farm the Black Knight Sword beginning of the game to make the game easier. Absolutely not. Because there are other difficulty modifiers in the game beyond that. Like, it's not just game easy because sword better. There are still some skill issues involved. There are still some decisions involved. But at the very least, that makes it so much easier. And I guess it's more of the baseline because, you know, hypothetically, you could always just be trying to punch stuff. And while you can punch stuff, you know, like, what's going to be harder? Punching an enemy to death, like, enemy has 100 health. You can punch it for 2 damage, or... I mean, Bonk is a very fun way to play the game. Bonk is a very fun way to play the game. Yeah. Like, you can punch it for 2 damage, or you can slash it for 168. That wasn't R2, that was R1, but okay. Gotta be careful with those, because I am down to half durability. This is me cheesing, because I know this. Oh, sir. There it is. Just to hit him on the head through the door. You can actually see his feet sees through the door, which I think is really funny. You can actually see his feet sees through the door. Ow, what? Was I just staggered by the door? Got him. What's really funny, too, is... So this is another ambush spot. It's a really good one. But they still kick open the door. They still open the door despite being dead. Give me that. Yeah, that is a very good weapon to play around with. That is a very strong weapon. It's a very fun weapon. But that still falls into the same, like, you know, math here. Boop. Hello. Sorcerer boy. Oh, look, a free catalyst. Boo. Sir. Thank you. Now, even this swarm, I still broke up. I could have absolutely just run in here and tried to fight all 7 of these guys. But every single one of their harsh attack staggers. Get a 20 humanities here. And we're at 204 item discovery. Let's just keep pushing it up here. Do not use that. Do use this. Boop. Up to 11 item discovery. Or up to 11 humanity, which pushes up to 210 item discovery. It's still just going up here. It's not huge amounts, but, you know. It's also, this is the other one, is it also pushes up our secondary defenses, I believe. I forget, I think it's status resist. I don't remember the details. Ow. Remember the time getting stuck in corners is bad? Ow! Like I said, getting stormed will almost always get you killed. Technically speaking, if you have a lot of poise, you could poise through that and hit them. But if you don't, you're just going to get bonked like that. And that's just going to hurt. Another short sword, don't care too much for those, but still nice. Should be one. Yeah, there is. Bonk. Drop down. Nice and methodical. There's not nearly as much hyper armor in this game. Oh, excuse me. I'm just gonna wait for that to round. Really? Like, it does still kind of exist for some attacks. Ow. Right. But it's much more a Dark Souls 2, Dark Souls 3 thing than a Dark Souls 1 thing. Ow. And we're stuck. There it is. Like I said, the moment you get cornered, you're just dead. And that does lose us that 11 humanity we were running around with. That does lose us the 11 humanity we were running around with very, very, very unfortunately. But... Boo, boo. Bonk. Okay, there should be one behind us. Ow. We've dodged that this entire time. Bonk. Bonk. And bonk. Last one. Yeah, I mean, if we really wanted to, we could try and push the poise up to avoid that. I mean, you know, I wouldn't go that far, but I get the analogy. Ow. Ow. I'm missing one. There it is. Go. I have these. Thank you. And yeah, that's generally the best way to handle the ambush, is you just do your best to bait them out like that. And then you just bounce off of the bucket. But yeah, I mean, you can have enough poise to block that. I would not advise trying to get that much poise. But yeah, unfortunately we lost that humanity, which, honestly, that humanity was very nice to have. Literally doubling, because yeah, we're back down to 100 item discovery. So, alright, the drop rate has literally been halved on that death, unfortunately. But... Sir, can you please... Really? Thank you, kick button. Thank you, kick button. That was almost really bad. That was almost really bad. Okay, how come he can attack me through the wall, but I can't attack him through the wall? Ow. There you go. We at least didn't lose much in the way of actual souls on that, which is nice. This is considered one of the hardest boss fights in the game. Mainly because it's a swarm. Not because Capra Demon is hard, which, in fairness, he is, but Arena small and dogs. But Arena small and dogs to clutter up the arena even harder. Pop him on the head. Like, look how little health he actually has here. For what was considered one of the hardest Dark Souls bosses on launch. Look at this health. Look at this. He's just gone. He's just actually gone here. Oh. One of the hardest bosses in Dark Souls history is hard because he has stinking dogs on him. And for no other reason. If he didn't have 2 dogs helping him in such a tiny arena, Now, this is what we call obvious. Now, in fairness, I still think like 50% of people fall for this despite it, but like... But like... Are you good? Thank you. I do like the setups here, though, because they are kind of, like... I like how punishing they are, because they're punishing in such an interesting way. Like, it's clearly designed to be, like... It is very much greed. Like, Patches is the big one on that one, too, where it's like, yeah, no, you greeted. You should not have greeted. You clearly did. It's your fault. Like, get good. Now, in fairness, I do think there's, to an extent, you can't avoid greeting, because, like, that wasn't greed. You weren't going for an item. That was just... The enemy is set an ambush that they forced you to run through. But... Oh, look, it's the blind corner. I wonder what's here. But I love the use of these weak enemies here, too, because it's like, these enemies are just chumps, right? Like, they drop 60 souls, they die easily, they have no armor, they have broken swords. But they're still just so deadly despite that. But... Oh, look, another blind corner. There you go. Boo. Now, I'm only going to go a little bit into here because I'm grabbing a thing. I'm not going to do the whole sewers right now. I'm probably not. I'm just going to do the whole sewers. Send a sentence. Hello, dog. Hello, other dog. And, oh look, it's an enemy that just kind of runs at you. Ow. No shield, no pacing, easily just walk behind her. Ow. Still hits hard. Still dangerous. Oh my god, how did I miss that? How's my weapon doing? 120, okay. There it is. The game does warn you weapon at risk, in fairness. The game does actually stop to tell you, like, hey, be careful. There's the large ember. Reminder, we still haven't gone to gargoyles. Boo boo. Oh wait, we don't have the stats for this. Oops. Okay, we'll go with this one. And Pop Humanity. There we go. Hello, we can see you up there. Ma'am, I'm gonna have to ask you to get down from there. Ow. That's... Really? There you go. Oh god, please. Thank you. That was so just silly positioning. Got her. Thank you. Get a sack off her. Tee funny. Hello. I'm just gonna roll through the barrels. Stop me. Boop. Boop. Blah blah blah, Mr. Pyromancer. Weirdly, there's no item in here. Like, the other guy has an item with him. No item here. Kinda strange. I'm like, yep, there it is. I was gonna say I'm like 75% sure there's something in the water. I don't remember what it is. I don't remember what it is. Careful, careful. Thank you. Oh, there's also a dog in here. Yep, two dogs, of course there are. I'm gonna go put my soul somewhere safe. I came here primarily for the Ember. because I just wanted to, again, show just weapon upgrading even further, like, how actually strong of a weapon you can have versus what the average player probably has. I feel like is where, like, 50% of the game difficulty comes from. I think 50% is a good number. Like, the game is still very hard on its own, but so much of it is either avoidable difficulty, or optional difficulty, or self-imposed accidental difficulty. Like, nothing forces you to not upgrade your weapon. People just don't upgrade their weapon, right? Like, that's just people. Purchase. I need, I don't know, say 10 of these. 5 of these. I don't want that. Run out of here, open the store. And here's another shortcut. We're not going to use this shortcut because it takes us somewhere where we don't have the health for, in all honesty. Like, I don't really have the health to go this direction. I will just die, but... Again, concept. That is some swishy splashy water. Might as well. There, have a funny hat. No, I think we just go for heavier armor here. There we go. Did we just die to fall damage? Did we really just... I was trying to plunging attack backing. I can't believe we did that. I can't believe we just died to fall damage. Oh my god, it's so far away too. It's so far away too. Okay, alright. Bonk. Bonk. just, I... Uh-huh. Oh, I didn't repair the drinks. That's fine. I don't need to. I got my souls out of there, at least. Ow. Thank you. And there's a third one. There it is. It really liked that crate, apparently. Maybe it's because they're sound-based. Ow. Nope. Do not get cornered. Do not get cornered. Excuse me. Thankfully, enemies that charge you do just kind of accidentally run into you at the very least, like, because they try to get closer, closer, closer. But... like, most of these enemies don't charge into stab, they charge and then kind of maybe stab after, sort of. Which is, I mean, grateful for it. Like, you know, especially for the first Dark Souls game. I feel like that'd get very painful very quickly. This... I mean, it looks better at least. And doggo. Okay, wait for the stamina, wait for the stamina. Bonk! Ow. Similarly, they lower the shield when they go to attack you, which leaves them nice and open. Yeah, okay. There's those handled. Ow. I will say poise is probably one of the most important stats in this, purely because it throws so many, like, random, like, dogs and stuff at you. Like, actual soldier guys aren't that bad, but... bonk. Let's go reclaim our souls. And let's go kill gargoyles. I cannot believe that this is a fall damage amount. Like this... that's how little fall damage I died to. Oh my god, that's too funny. That's honestly, that's too funny to me. Like, I know it's It's unfortunate because I had to run back, and that part's annoying and silly, but like... That's like how much health, right? Like that's what, 20 damage, 40 damage, and fall damage? But we were at like 15 health. Alright. So that goes down into the sewers, and the sewers suck, so we never want to go into the sewers. Call of Use armor, that's probably a good look for us, isn't it? It's not bad. So we can maybe step up with the gloves to be a bit more defensive. Legs to be a bit more defensive. Yeah, those are just better. Alright. So we've got some humanity back. We're back up to 2 humanity at least, which, you know, isn't 11, but it's something. Oh, right, we have one more. I mean, I always have one more, but in that in the interest of showcasing, so those dung pies I bought. Ooh. Ow, sir. Thank you. Those have a very specific home. Go around here. There we go. There we go. So the dog pies are a very funny solution to a very stupid problem. So you get the key for that elsewhere. Like, you do get the key for this fairly early on. You don't have to... You don't need the master key to get in here. You do for as early as I've gotten in here, but you get it shortly after the boss. I'm just organizing stuff. Hello, sir. No, you can block. That's fine. You just do the meme. Thank you. Ooh. Ow! I can't believe I got caught by that. That's entirely my bad. I'm normally fine. I guess because the stairs were at a weird elevation. That's kind of on me. Still kind of silly on me. Still admittedly a bit of a silly thing to do, but alright. Boop. 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 He's just a very solvable problem, again, in that category of, like... Dark Souls really rewards non-linear play in just a lot of your decision-making and a lot of your options. There's nothing wrong with trying to brute force your way with a weapon. I enjoy brute forcing my way with the weapon. That's my, like, 3rd short sword. Like, I enjoy it. I have fun with it. I am never complaining about it, but... Like, if you're ever stuck in this game, if something ever seems too hard in this game, there's probably a much better solution than the one that I use. Or the one that you might be trying. Like, one, obviously, again, upgrading weapons so important, but I don't know if 2 is going to be enough, but my souls are down here anyway, so I might as well grab them. I think you need 3. I thought I missed with that one, though. So I don't actually remember. Run on down here. I mean, I guess this still requires that I not miss, right? Like... Ow. He bounced off the wall on that one. That's good. Sir, do you wanna... There it is. Oh, nope, I miss. Alright. I guess he lives. Goodbye, Havel. I spare you, I guess. I didn't mean to spare you, but... That's fine. And very politely, as much as you can bait certain enemies out of where you fight them, he refuses to leave. Oh, circle back. But again, look how safe my souls are gonna be here. Like, my souls are incredibly safe here. Like, he does kill you in probably one hit, maybe 2 hits if you're unlucky, but... he still goes down to backstabs, just the same. Ow. The way that that snapshot turns. The way that that snapshot turns. I'm not complaining, but it's funny. But yeah, I mean, oh no, we died to Havel, but our souls are in such an easily accessible spot here, who cares? Boop, boop. Last guy. And yeah, like, reducing the game, like right here, it's just, they die in 1 hit. And enemies that die in 1 hit are so much different. Like, it's not just, oh, they die in 1 hit instead of 2 hits, it's like, I should get my souls back first. There you go. Like, imagine how different that would have been if I didn't, right? Like... and bonk bonk. Oh, sir. Because, like, they do still do damage to me. Like, I'm not, you know, I'm not invincible. They do still do 200 damage to me on hit. Like, let's not ignore that fact. Like, if we just come here and we swap back to a short sword, just a generic short sword. I'll two-handed for the sake of. Two-handing it really doesn't matter, though. Like, this guy alone. 2 hits instead. And that's just the sniper dude. Like, that's not a normal enemy. That's not a normal pile of enemies. That's just the little annoying archer dude who's back behind you. Like, come on down here. Alright. That is still 1 shot. Nice. But these guys... there's the shield break. Sir. Sir. Thank you. But that's 57 damage instead of 140 damage. Like, it's still enough there from, like, shield bleed-throughs and stuff. Like, it is still doable. It's not impossible. It's not unbeatable, but it's so different, right? Like, put 3 levels in there, and let's start putting points into dexterity. I feel like we're gonna need the points in dexterity more. Get 1,000 souls off that. Get another 800 souls off that. Because we need 18 dexterity for a fact, and then we need, like, 14 strength. So, ooh, we're still shy on that. It is starting to cost a little bit to level up on this. It is starting to cost a little bit more to level up on this. But that's fine. And notably, Dark Souls 1 does not have easily accessible respecking, so be really careful with that. Like, I wouldn't put a mean point into resistance unless you don't mind just losing that level up forever kind of thing. I don't remember if there is technically a respector and it's just an annoying... Look at this. This guy takes 3 hits now. This guy takes 3 hits now instead of just the 1. And, like, coming into the rats... That's not a 1-shot. That's not a 1-shot. That means we are far more likely to get swarmed in this place. Like, you could still play it carefully, so you could still dodge them, absolutely, but I don't want to kick, thank you. Like, that's the difference. It's like running around between, like, an upgraded with an upgraded, like... Even just back to the +5 longsword here, we're now back in 1-shot territory. Which makes these giant swarms of mobs drastically different. Right? Like, hey, another longsword, neat. And you're not gonna 1-shot everything for the entire game, absolutely not. You start getting, like, Tauros demons and stuff, but even that, like, it still scales reflectively. Like, if the game throws 2 Tauros demons at you and you're doing 5 damage versus you're doing 100 damage, that's gonna be a different fight. End of sentence. That's going to be a different fight. Like, yeah, I don't 1-shot this guy, but definitely, like... Oop, versus just like a normal longsword doing the same job. Tightening shard, nice. There it is. 26 damage. 26 damage. Longsword versus longsword versus 125 damage. That is actually a difference of 100 damage. Now, it doesn't look like it's the thing. It's like 80 plus 25 versus 120 plus 40. Like, it should be a difference of 50. But because defense is just so so front-loaded, because defense is just so front-loaded, it is the difference of 26 versus 125 damage. And that's wild. Like, that's, again, for a new player especially, I feel like that's gonna make or break your run right there. Like, are you able to fight the thing? Are you able to do the thing? What's the thing doing? Like, boop. Ow. Because we're back on the longsword. Like, now we're back in here, now that I'm done messing around with Capra Demon and stuff, we're back on the longsword. Boop, boop. Let me go rest at the bonfire just in case they do something stupid. Just go rest at the bonfire. And plop. Now, we grabbed that large ember earlier from the sewers, which that we would have to wait a little bit longer for, probably, but same concept applies here of just, like, give large ember. And now we can turn this into a +6 longsword. Or we could turn this into a raw longsword. This is a thing you can also do with these weapons. It decreases the scaling, but increases the base. So we're losing 4 from scaling, but we're gaining 18 from just base. So it's a net gain of 14. Or we could have a net gain here of 8 plus 4 of 12. So it's like net gain 14 versus net gain 12. Now, in fairness, eventually this is... Raw is best early game. I would not focus on Raw too much until, like, in... Like, especially as your stats climb, it's just going to be worth more. But look at this. Our longsword, remember that Drake sword? Remember that Drake sword that had 200 AR? We're up to 194. This longsword is comparable to the Drake sword now. And all we've been doing is upgrading. Now, yes, you can upgrade. You can upgrade the Drake sword. However, upgrading the Drake sword requires dragon skills. Which requires going to the Valley of Drakes and farming Drakes if you started Master Key. If you didn't, shrug. Come back later. Drake sword isn't going to really upgrade until mid to late game. Whereas this beginner longsword that you just start the game with at +7 does the same job. Does the exact same job. There's no secret to this. There's no tech to this. This is just an upgraded longsword. Boop. Ow. Bounce off the shield. There you go. And I feel like that's so impactful, right? Like, that's, you know, just boop. Ow. There you go. And pop. Let's go fight a boss. Let's finally go fight a boss now. With all of this prep work that we've done, with all of these upgrades that we've done, let's go fight a boss now. Boop. Climb up here. Climb up here. Chug jug. Now, first boss of the game, like first real boss of the game. The first real boss of the game here. We got a gargoyle. Hello there, sir. So what's really funny about the gargoyle, he drops his stuff irrelevant of, he doesn't drop his souls, but his actual, like, shield check, weapon check, etc. He can drop these, and it checks individually. So if we still had our, like, 300 item discovery here... First off, tail. Always check the tail. You can't always get the tail, but it's always worth checking. It's always worth checking. Look at this. Look at... He's just dead. He's just actually dead. There was no rolling. There was no skill. There was no tech. There was no, like, wrong warping. We just hit him to death. 179 damage per swing. 3 hits on that gargoyle. The second gargoyle took 3 attacks. That's it. Just 3 attacks. Welcome in, welcome in. How are you doing tonight? But yeah, I mean, that's the thing. Dark Souls is such a more approachable game than it looks like on the surface because there's just so many options in between. Like, there's so many decisions you can make early to mid-game that can just drastically change your run. I'm doing really good. I'm doing really good. Just playing a bit of Dark Souls Remastered. I've beaten the game before on stream, and I really, really enjoy the stream, so I'm kind of just doing, like, a talk-through of the game. Where instead of, like, bashing my head against it, it's like, okay, here's, you know, here's the easy stuff, here's the how-to stuff. Just a lot of simplification and a lot of just methodology. Like, can I please... There you go. Because I think a lot of people bounce off of Dark Souls because the game is really intimidating and the game is really hard to approach, and it is. The game is very hard to approach because it doesn't give you a lot of this information, but... can I have your gesture? And then... That's it, I just wanted your gesture. Yeah, I just wanted your gesture. Bye-bye! Technically, we could homeward bone from here, but it's just a free run back. Like, I wish you could jump this. That would be such a nice little shortcut. But I imagine if you could do that mid-boss fight, it'd cause problems. So I get why it's probably too high of a jump. But man, that would be such a nice shortcut out of the boss arena. Is you just drop down and you're just out of the boss fight. Jump. Oh, I forgot to kill these guys. Alright. There you go. Bonk. But yeah, how do you pronounce your name as well? I'm not incredibly familiar with those characters, so I want to make sure I don't butcher it if I'm, you know, addressing you or anything like that. It is a very pretty alphabet. I really like a lot of the different languages, like, different, not characters. Is it characters? I don't know. But there's a lot of just really good, interesting flow and differences between them. But yeah, okay, so we want 18 dexterity, and then we want to start pumping strength, which is already almost done. We have nothing else we can really throw at that, though. Actually, no, because we're going to Quelaag next, which means we could absolutely just, on the way back, level up, probably, right? Yeah, I guess there's no reason that doesn't work. I guess there's no reason that doesn't work. Alright, here, you. Give me souls. Thank you. Thank you. Souls, please. How much did it need to level up here? Yeah, sure, absolutely, absolutely. Thank you for that. Very much appreciated. Where does it... Oh, whatever. I'll just get some more. Yeah, I speak Spanish, some Korean, and predominantly English. But I really like seeing just and trying to learn other languages when I can. But yeah, I'm kind of just being a gremlin at the moment. I am very much enjoying just Dark Souls. Like, I play this game a lot for just how much I've beaten through it. I just really enjoyed the series. Like, I think the beginning of Dark Souls 1 is probably one of the best beginnings just in most games. Because it's technically open-ended with a lot of decisions you can make, but it still has directions you should and want to go. Or you can just get trapped. That's also a thing you can do. Hello.
You are undead as well. We've no time to fraternize. I have my...
Okay.
Who are you?
Whatever, I tried. I made the attempt. There's Swampy Boy. Level up. Okay, so one more strength should actually do this. And now we get to pay off the absolutely fantastic item luck we had earlier. Black Knight Greatsword. Which if we were really smart, we would have upgraded before we left even, but... Okay, can we push this down even further? Sure. I mean, it's gonna cost like another 2,000 souls to upgrade. I mean... Reinforce Estus Flask, thank you. Alright. Can we be funny here? Bye-bye. I will always appreciate that. So that is a decision to make. That is not a thing that you should do. That is just a decision that you can choose to make if you really, really want to. But it is absolutely worth it. 5 humanities and a Ring of Favor and Protection. Which, we can swap that for that. And we just get extra stamina, we get extra equip load. Worth in just every capacity. Also, that guy is just an absolute dingus, so him being dead, you know, we take those. We take those. Okay, so we need to upgrade this a little more, which... I'm so tempted. Yeah. Get a Scythian. Because there should be about 500 souls up here. And if there's 500 souls up here, then we can upgrade the Black Knight Greatsword at least once. We probably can upgrade it twice if we really wanted to push for it, but I don't know if we really want to push for it. Oh, that's not a button we should be pushing. Ow. 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 But yeah, the reach on this weapon, the damage on this weapon, it's a funny weapon. It is a lucky drop. It is not something you plan to run around unless you're going for like a speed run or something. It is not something you expect to get, but if you get it, it's just so good. It's so funny. It's like bonk. Yeah, you also don't get his armor. His armor does look very nice, but you don't get it, even if you want it. You don't get it until so late in the game. Like, I think having the Ring of Favor this early versus having his armor after Ornstein and Smo, right? Like, I definitely think having the ring this early is just worth so much more than anything else could be. Let me use these. Like, it's definitely a decision. It's definitely a preference, but the Ring of Favor and Protection is so strong. It also means you don't get her armor, too, from an aesthetic purpose. Like, you lose out on her armor, and you lose out on his armor. But you get the ring this early in the game. Yeah, so we can upgrade this, and... Oh, look at that! Plus 22, plus 8, so plus 30 on our damage, sure. And then if we could afford to do it again, we could do that again for another extra 30 attack rating on top of that. But we would need another 2,000 souls. I don't think I rested at that. I could probably... That's fine. But yeah, so 2,000 more souls, we could upgrade this one more time, which isn't... I mean, we could do a full clear of the building, right? That's almost 2,000 souls. I'm trying to decide if it's worth it. Like, Oh, I didn't rest the bonfire, never mind. Yeah. Because an extra 30 attack rating starts to just get really funny, really spooky, really fast. Oop, wrong button. But I mean, we're up at 306 attack rating right now. Whereas if we had just the normal broadsword on, or longsword on, we'd have a third of that. Like, and again, damage doesn't scale linear, so it's like, it's not just, oh, you'd have a third of that. It's, you'd be doing 20 damage instead of 200 damage, like, and they're gone. Wait, no, they're not. Yeah, because I really like the Firekeeper armor. Like, the Firekeeper armor is just nice to play around with at times. Like, it's not perfect, it's not, but, you know. I like Fashion Souls a lot in this game. I like absolutely just playing for the, like, what can I play around with, what can I meme with, what do I have access to? Because I think that's just the most fun way to play. Like, I think trying to min-max optimal armor gets really difficult sometimes. Especially if you're not pumping up your defenses naturally, like, you have to just... Like, if you're not moving equip load, trying to juggle all of that under, like, 20 load... I just take whatever looks nice. I just take whatever looks nice as a complete set or as a combined set. I don't know why I did that. I mean, it doesn't really matter. It's an insignificant amount of damage overall, but... Sticking to the unupgraded weapon comparison, Longsword 1... Let's do that with these enemies real quick. Longsword 1 versus Longsword 2. Alright. So we'd probably come in here. I mean, we probably wouldn't come in here, but like these enemies. We'd probably bump into one of these enemies. 23 damage. Oh, got instantly poisoned. Ow. 23 damage. If we're sword and boarding with a one-handed that we haven't upgraded. Ow. Verse 152. 6 times more damage. 7 times more damage? Oh my god. Yep, sir. Thank you. Got one down. Got bonked in the head. Like, I have better weapons anyway, but like, this is, you know, if you're not upgrading your weapons versus if you are upgrading your weapons, you're doing 23 damage to these dudes. 23 damage to these nerds. Instead of 150 damage to these nerds. And yeah, if you want to actually play around with this as well, right, like, backstab, 500, 250 on this. Yeah, I mean, kill him in 4 hits or kill him in 47 hits. That's not a difference of, like, difficulty. That's a difference of, like, insanity. Key to New Londo Ruins. Nice. And I'll let the descent begin. Oh, excuse me. Thank you. So there is a secret item I could grab here. I'm not sure I want to go out of my way for it, though. Because this is just going to be run downstairs and kill Quelaag, I think. I think this is just going to be run downstairs, kill Quelaag, prove a point. So I'm just going to ignore those guys. They're annoying. I wish I could kill them. I'm going to ignore them. Boop. Oh, wait. Just place that. And no merchant. Unfortunate. Bonk. So the earliest you can get a dragon scale, technically there's a dragon scale at the back of this cave, where you could upgrade your Drake Sword once, which probably puts it at about similar to this, honestly. Oh, I don't have any poison resist. Okay, what's the best poison resist I can get? 31, probably. Yeah, that's gonna be a lot better. Alright, 12. Does anything be 12? We got the Gargoyle Helm, which pushes us up to 9. Fine, we'll wear the stupid Gargoyle Helm. I'm just gonna sprint this. Oh, I don't have antidotes, do I? Nope. I think quality is technically the best build in Dark Souls 1. I don't entirely remember, because I know, so... Dark Souls 3 has actual refinements you can put on weapons, which are quality, keen, and heavy. Dark Souls 1 doesn't really have those, but they have weapons that lean in those directions, so it's a lot more going to be weapon dependent. But as noted here, like, I'm using this weapon entirely off its bases. I would honestly say, not raw actual, like, I wouldn't actually impute raw, but I would say play as if you're using raw for the large majority of the beginning of the game, and then pivot. Because, you know, I have 15 strength, 15 dexterity. I love her sword. Her sword is so cool. You can actually get her sword. You can actually get her sword, which is just fantastic. Hello, belly button. Twitch, don't look, it's fine, it's fine, it's fine, don't, Twitch, don't look, YouTube, don't look, it's fine. Nothing happened, don't worry about it. I mean, even just to keep the comparison going, like, I'll put on a longsword here. Look how much damage the longsword does to Quelaag. If you have not upgraded your longsword by this point in the game, 13 damage. Now, if you've upgraded your longsword, 45 damage, which is triple. It is triple. But 45 damage instead of 13 damage. And if you have the Black Knight Greatsword, 202 damage. 202 damage. So you could be doing 23 damage or 202 damage here. Which I feel like is just one of those statements of, like... When people say they struggle with this game, when people say this game is hard, this is the part that I think they've been struggling with. Ow. Jumped into the lava. That's fine. And that's not even their fault. I don't think it's their fault, right? Like, I think you go kill gargoyles, you're like, yeah, we killed gargoyles. You go down here. And because there are things too, is like, again, the early advice you get is like, oh, if you're struggling with a boss, whip out the gold pine resin. Because the gold pine resin adds a bunch of flat elemental damage to your weapon, which, you know, feels good, sounds good, looks good. Hello. Let's stay below. That's fine. And there's, like, that's the... Oh. Yeah, So most weapons, again, as noted, going back to the longsword, CC scaling, CC scaling... Part of it is just... I think Dark Souls 2 is the biggest with it. I think Dark Souls 2 is the biggest culprit of strong base stats, rough scaling. I wish I had something to cleanse this poison with. Like, that's gonna be such a nuisance to deal with. Oops. That doesn't feel... Want to be below 16? I don't remember. I'm trying to remember what... 15? Yeah, I have to go 15. Put that back on. I don't think it matters. I think we just die anyway, but put that on instead. So you can actually navigate this place without getting poisoned, but you have to be very stingy with where you run to. Yeah, okay. Yeah, just move this. Give me my sword back. Which, this back. Normally normally speaking, you would have almost no reason to have not explored the Moonlight Butterfly. If you've explored in the direction of the Moonlight Butterfly, you have the cure to poison. Also, the old lady sells it. The old lady that I ran past to about the dung from, she sells poison cures. So you should have poison cures coming into this dungeon. This is actually my fault, it's not the game's fault. But I kind of just went around memeing, so... Yeah, so... You could be attacking Quelaag for 20 damage or 200 damage. And I feel like that is where just all difficulty of this game comes from. Ow. Like, the game is still hard. I still have to dodge that. I still have to not get hit by that. That's still a thing on the table. I'm not going to say suddenly, you know, like, you don't have to dodge, but look how much less you have to dodge if you kill the boss in 5 hits, right? Oop, bad miss. I don't want to be in the lava, no. Thank you, Dark Souls. You can still stub your toe on lava, you can still misplay, you can still be bad at the game, that can still happen. That can still absolutely happen, that's still a thing on the table. And that's kind of just, that's the example right there. It's just exactly that, though. Oh. Because what are the odds you will eventually stub your toe in lava normally versus what are the odds you'll stub your toe in lava if you have to fight the boss for 5 times as long? Just, I feel like there's guaranteed to be, I don't want to say attrition, that's the wrong word, but like just eventuality, I guess, on it. Like, no matter how safe you try and play, no matter how smart you try and play, odds are pretty high you eventually get caught out by some attack at some point. And if you kill the boss in 1 minute instead of 6 minutes, you're probably less likely to encounter that, right? Assuming same skill level. And you don't have to min-max damage, but that ballpark of, like, you can slap her with a longsword for 15 damage, or you can slap her with an upgraded longsword for 45 damage, or you can slap her with a Black Knight weapon for 200 damage. Like, I think her projected assumed damage is probably around 110. Which is wild for, you know, how early you have access to it, right? Like, the Black Knight weapons are not guaranteed drops. Give me this. I want to say the Gargoyle Halberd was how I beat her on my first playthrough on stream. Because the Gargoyle Halberd has such good reach on it. Because you can actually hit her, like, actual body. Bonk. Bonk. Oh, yep, there's that. Bonk. Like, look at how much just different this fight is when she's just dead. Right? Like, we haven't even had a potion yet, because I haven't made, you know... Like, I've still made mistakes, but... Boop. Let her do her meme. Chug a potion. And, like, you can still make mistakes. I'm now boxed in with the lava. I have nowhere to go except for through the lava. And she's still attacking me. So those mistakes can still happen even if you know what you're doing, but... Again, like, the impact of the mistake, how many times will I make that mistake if I'm doing 1/10 the damage? Because that's it. That's the boss defeated. That's it. There's Quelaag. I mean, yeah, we did it! Quelaag, easy, first time, clap, clap, clap. We did it! Huge gamer poggers, gigantic! Huge W, drop a follow, drop a like, drop a sub, drop a hamburger, because I'm kind of hungry. Yeah, and like, I do that as a meme, I do that as a joke, and then, but, and then, ring the bell. Now, very entertainingly, boop. The reason I start with the Old Witch's Ring... What? Oh, this one. The reason I start with the Old Witch's Ring... Move this, just to be safe.
Oh dear. What have we here? Are you a new servant?
Yes.
No eggs. Go along and have audience with our fair lady. I pray that you will mind your manners.
Uh-huh. Move. 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 Sir. Sir, please. Move. Thank you.
My dear sister.
The only way she can understand you and you can understand her is with the old witch's ring.
Quaylag, my dear sister. The eggs. They've gone still. I am afraid it may be too late. I am so sorry, dear sister.
But importantly,
Covenant again. Of course. Let me try.
you can enter a covenant with her. Most importantly, you can enter a covenant with her. Obtained Great Chaos Fireball. And then offer humanity. Yes. Let's just feed her 10 humanity real quick. There we go.
My Quaylag too.
Now, remember the time at the very beginning when I went ahead and I added 1 extra level up to attunement, so we had 12 attunement? Great Chaos Fireball takes up 2 attunement slots. I have invested in nothing else in actually leveling up Pyromancy or learning Pyromancy. I just came here, I talked to her.
Do not be rash with your pride. You have yet to earn my trust. If you try anything funny with the fair lady, there will be hell to pay.
Purchase item. No. Oh, I don't have a fire
No
flame.
time for thee.
I don't actually have a Pyromancy Flame because we didn't talk to the nerd. But yeah, so right there, we could have a Pyromancy Flame with Great Chaos Fireball at no additional cost on that. Then we can pump this up to 17, just so we're spending souls. You just always want to be spending souls, in all honesty. Like, if you're running around with 22,000 souls, you are asking to lose them. Pump the strength up to 18. Get a little more attack rating. So much are we actually getting from scaling on this? 53 versus 26, even on just the scaling right here. Yeah, I mean, this is doing 197 as opposed to 106. Like, the quality does matter as well, but very sincerely, I would like... Early game, I would pick a weapon. I'd say probably 16 strength, 16 dexterity is probably enough. That is probably enough to wield most weapons for most of the game. And the moment you have 16 strength, 16 dexterity, I would just go health to 30. I would just go health to 30. Because that's, like, look how long my health bar has gotten at this point. I now have 951 health. Like, that is a significant number. That is a non-insignificant number, right? Like, yeah, I've gained an extra little bit of strength from this. I've gained probably 20 more attack rating on this, which does matter. And does add up. Absolutely adds up. But, like, I'm still probably killing these guys in 4 hits. Like, that probably hasn't changed. Oh, excuse me. Ow. Thank you, sir. May I please have this, whatever it is? Large lightning shard, nice. Oh, I took off the... Right. That's on me, that's on me. I took off the, run through Swamp Ring. Boop. And... Boop. No, sir, please. I'm just doing this so I don't get bounced back to that spot over there. This game does also have invasions, but you have to be human for invasions, which I would just... It's really hard to advise wandering around human. I would honestly say, for a first-time playthrough, just have a list of the invasion spots. Like, ask a friend to get it for you to avoid, like, spoilers or whatever, but just, like, have a note of, like, at these bonfires, or at these, like, descriptive locales, activate humanity. I think that would actually be probably a very important way to do it, because trying to run around human the whole game, I think you're going to burn through a lot of humanity dying that way, because soft humanity you just carry in your inventory, it's just a stat stick for you, it's like carrying around your souls. But if you're spending humanity to be human again, that's basically losing 3,000 to 5,000 souls per death. I don't know if I can advocate for losing 3,000 to 5,000 souls per death, you know? Oh, sir. Thank you. Yep, there's the purple moss clump. So that's how you handle poison typically, is that. Boop. Now, it's really funny because these guys drop purple moss clumps. These guys drop purple moss clumps. Purple moss clumps do not cleanse the poison they inflict you with. I don't know if it's just supposed to be a bait. I don't know if they didn't think about it, but like... Ow. So they inflict you with toxic, which is not cleansed. Oh. So that guy's just not actually reachable. Kind of annoyingly. Like, kind of annoyingly, he can't actually just be reasonably reached. Yeah, like, he's just on a ledge. This is real Dark Souls right here. This is Dark Souls. They put a guy on that ledge who spits an uncurable poison at you. And look how fast he fires. Like, he's not just kinda sort of shooting it at you. He is machine gunning that at you. Right? Like, he's just rapid firing. Alright. And he fell. Gratefully, he fell. Because you cannot make that jump. Oh, sir. Thank you. Please? No, please, game. Please target the thing I want to target. Thank you. Thank you. Okay, that's all of them handled. That's all. Now, those guys do not respawn gracefully. Like, very, very fantastically, they do not respawn. Fire breath. The dogs do. The dogs will. So if we die, we have to fight through the dogs again. But all of those poison guys do not respawn. And Firekeeper Soul. Which is how you upgrade your flasks in this game. Sir? Ow. Thank you. If I got clipped by that fire, I think it was just dead outright. Alright. Boom. And the toxic should fall off here, and we should be clear to leave. And yeah, I mean, that is, honestly, that is the first... Like, I've done this in 3 hours basically on the dose. Like, I've done this basically on 3 hours on the dot. But that is the first, like, probably chunk of Dark Souls. Oh my god, I always miss this ladder. This ladder blends in so well. There it is. And climb. And climb. Yes, we do have the Claymore as well. We do have the Swaghander as well. So, like, this is just... I like the Black Knight Greatsword, but... Like, this is just the same sword. Ow. Oops. Like, this is just the same sword. Like, it just doesn't have the bonus against demons, but it has the customizability. It's... I could have sworn there was a bridge over there that I missed. Oh, yep, there it is. I don't care enough about the bridge, in fairness. I'm not going to bother with that bridge, but there is a bridge across there that gives you an extra item. I believe it gives you the red robes and the tin banishment catalyst, I think. Hello, sir. Excuse me. Yeah, excuse me. Okay. Mm-hmm. And we're out. Easy enough. Easy enough. Wow, we have exactly 6,500 souls. That is a very clean number. Like, I'm surprised because so many enemies drop like 423 or... And leveling up does not cost clean numbers either. Like, leveling up costs similar numbers of just like 5,874 and stuff like that. So the fact that we landed on a clean number... Because we have our souls back. Like, these aren't our souls that we left on the floor. We've spent... It's kind of just like when you get a clean purchase at like $25 after tax and stuff like that. It's like, oh yeah... These 17 different items all ended on like 98, 97, 99, 43. And it added up to just a nice, clean, round number. Okay, so unfortunately, we do not get the Fire Maiden attire. Fortunately, though, she doesn't die. So I'm willing to stick with that one. But I think we actually call it there. I think that is actually a really clean, like, tutorial, so to speak. Like, I could play this game forever. I love this game to pieces. It is a very fun game. But I think that that's a really clean, nice explanation. That's a showcase. It's exactly what it is, right? Like, it's... That is the beginning of Dark Souls 1. From here, you go to Fortress, you go to Ornstein and Smough. That is actually where this is already. Like, if this was like an 8-hour stream, we would probably end the stream at Ornstein and Smough. But yeah, thank you guys again for coming. I don't really know how YouTube raids work, and I don't know where I would send you guys even if they did, because most of my friends are over on Twitch. But thank you all for coming. I hope you guys enjoyed the stream. I hope to see you guys later. I will be back later as well. Twitch stream tomorrow, beating Elden Ring. Beating Elden Ring tomorrow, Master Duel on Monday. So, good memes ensue, good memes ensue. I'm looking forward to it. I hope you guys are too. Thank you all. They're very much appreciated. I hope you guys had fun, though. I hope this was informative. I hope you guys had fun. If you have any other questions, I will happily answer them as we end stream. Otherwise, I will catch you guys tomorrow. I'm gonna go stretch. I'm gonna go rinse off. I'm gonna go have a good night. I hope you guys do, too. Be good, be good, be good, be good. Take care of yourselves. And...